After a week off to gather our thoughts, the FOSROC Super 6 is back, bigger and better than ever. A late, dramatic win for Boroughmuir Bears will give them confidence this afternoon, but they'll need much more than that against a side many are tipping for the title, Southern Knights. Bears gave Stirling County a sore head here a fortnight ago, but face a bigger challenge this afternoon. Coach Graham Shield has made a few changes from that team, going deep into the squad as they search for their third win of the season. Southern Knights are towards the right end of the table and they're looking to move back to the top. Next weekend they face Watsonians Rugby at the Greenyards in what should be a top two clash, but they can't afford to look too far ahead today. So there's work to be done for both sides here on Free Sports live from Megatland. Boroughmuir Bears versus Southern Knights, kick-off at 1:30. Yeah, it's good to have you with us. A fantastic match in prospect here this afternoon, and delighted to welcome Scotland and Boroughmuir legendary centre Sean Lereen. Sean, let's talk about this game today, because there's two teams here that have been looking pretty good. Boroughmuir, of course, got their win a fortnight ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're two very good teams. If you look at where they are at the moment in the table, it's not really reflective. All six teams can beat each other, really, when you look at the game. Even on Friday night, Watsonians Heriots, that was a cracker, right? 21-20 right at the very end. The death, they get the win for Heriots. But today's game, yeah, Boroughmuir need to convert more of their chances. They're getting into the 22 a lot, but if you look at stats, they're only converting 1 in every 7 times, whereas Southern Knights, when they're in 1 in every 3 times, they're getting a try. So, you know, they convert a lot of their chances, Southern Knights, and they play some really good rugby.
They certainly do. And your sort of other role within Scottish Rugby is kind of, the head of, player development for this league, and you're across it all the time. So you're seeing this league be happening during the summer. It's played when it should be played. It's looking great. There's some really good games and really dramatic finishes as well. So you must be pretty happy, right?
Well, what's not to be happy with? I mean, one of these things in Scotland, it's easier to criticise than praise. We should be praising this. It's in the good weather, a lot of ambition. The coaches are doing a great job. They've had to work pretty hard over the last year and a half to keep the players motivated as well with little rugby. And there's a lot of ambition. Yeah, it's not the perfect model at the moment. There's a lot of mistakes, but the youngsters are really stepping up. There's a lot of young players that are staying here now. They're not going overseas to look to play the rugby. And that's what we want. We want a league where the players step up, where they get recognised, and there's an opportunity to go further up, and some players from this league are also taking part now in the programs as well, against Newcastle and Worcester with Edinburgh and Glasgow recently. So yeah, it's a real good stepping stone, but most of all, it's playing good rugby and good weather.
Good weather and good rugby certainly, but also a real step up from the Premiership as well. The quality and the physicality is huge.
Physicality is a big word, and Steve Hansen made a quote a while ago after the Lions South Africa series, where he talked about rugby should be about physicality, speed, using the ball, and that's really important, and skills are really important. You can see that the way they're playing, the ambition, and all credit to the 6 coaches, as I said before. I've gone around the training of all the teams the last couple of weeks, just looking at how they're training and speaking to the coaches, and they're loving it. It's a lot of hard work, and they're learning about being professional coaches as well. And the referees, I have to say, this is a breeding ground for the new generation of referees too.
Yeah, all the games have been filmed as well, so yes, there's no hiding ground for the referees either. So let's talk about today's game, because obviously a few weeks ago Boroughmuir were down in Melrose against the Southern Knights, and they got off to an unbelievably fast start. That first 40 minutes was incredible. They'll be hoping for more of the same today.
Yeah, I think that, they play quite well for periods of the game, and then they cough up the ball. I mean, Graham Shield, he must be tearing his hair out. They cough up the ball in the 22 and just don't convert their chances. The 9 and 10, big game for Clean Burrito at 9. I think he's an outstanding young player. He's been through the 20s. There's quite a few of the lads through the 6 teams that have played Scotland under 20 rugby. I think there's 8 from the 10 today across the 2 front rows, including the reserves, that have played Scotland 20. So they know each other reasonably well. That's what I'm saying. You couldn't pick a winner today, really. On form, you'd say Southern Knights, but if Boroughmuir can maintain the momentum and convert the chances that they create, they could win. Being a Boroughmuir man, obviously.
Exactly, but the Knights and Watsonians Rugby kind of look like they're kind of blazing the trail. Was that a fair comment at this stage, halfway through?
Yeah, look, Ayr had a great game yesterday. Look at the Bulls, the way they played yesterday, and it was Ladies' Day yesterday. Apparently, Derek Stark, a mate of mine, told me 350 women are having a good time before the game. That's what you want, getting the local community involved. And yeah, the Bulls are playing well. Watsonians and Heriots. I thought Heriots are back to playing some really good rugby. Southern Knights are up there. I think all 6, even Stirling County, like Ben Cairns has got them running really well. They came up against a pretty rampant Bulls team yesterday, but any one of the 6 teams can beat each other.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff, no doubt about it. Let's hear from the coaches ahead of this one. So we've had a week off, a busy week I guess for most of the coaches, and have you got a lot of good work done?
We've had quite a quiet week, if I'm being honest. Yeah, no, we had a pretty full-on 5 weeks of competition, and obviously we played Ayrshire Bulls pre-season as well. So we actually had a real down week. We just felt it was right to refresh the batteries. Coaches had a good review, and we have had a good look at Boroughmuir. Obviously, as you know, they carry a lot of threats, so it was really straight onto them, and then freshen up the boys for the start of the round 2, I suppose.
I guess that break's important because you didn't play last year because of COVID, and the guys are straight into a full-on season, week in, week out, and you have to go deep into the squad as well, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. We got a bit battered. Obviously, we had a 5-day turnaround on the back of Boroughmuir into Watsonians, and we do the same this time as well. So we've got Boroughmuir today, and then we've got a game Friday night. So yeah, you got to use your squad, because if you don't, the chances are you're going to lose some of them. So, but look, you got to trust the group as well, and we've got some good young players coming through, and there's a few playing today that we're really looking forward to seeing, and hopefully it'll be an exciting game for them.
Boroughmuir got off to a flying start down in Melrose, but you managed to get back into that game and grind out a very good victory there. So are you expecting much of the same from them?
Yeah, look, I think so. I think they're, as I said pre-match, they're very dangerous. They've got some really dangerous attacking players. If it gets a little bit too loose, that'll suit them. So look, we've got to be really clinical in what we do, and hopefully we can, as you say, be a little bit more clinical in taking our opportunities as well, because we did have to grind it out down there, and that was credit to them.
But grinding it out is what you have to do if you want to win a title, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to be comfortable being in tight games, and there's plenty of tight games in the Super6, which is brilliant. So no, look, it's all building quite nicely. The squad's in good spirits, and we're looking forward to the game today. You mentioned the game next week is a hugely important one for you as well, and I guess you can't look too far ahead, but it's looking like you and what's at the moment are kind of blazing the trail a wee bit. So can you look ahead, or you got to get this done today? No, our priority is definitely on here today. Yeah, look, we've got enough to worry about here today, and we'll dust ourselves down, and then we'll see how we get on at the end of today, and we'll review, and we'll then preview into Watson's next week. Well, wish you all the best. Thanks very much. Good man. Graham, a great win here last time a fortnight ago must give you confidence today.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is a great win. We were very fortunate. I think we had a spell of the game. We capitalised on that, took our chances, and that was ultimately the difference. And and it was the contrast was the previous week against Southern Knights, where we did play very, very well, and we're really, really happy with our performance. But we then we came away with nothing. So it's hard at times. But again, listen, the win's a win, and we're really delighted with that, and it keeps things moving forward. Okay, maybe not great, but certainly important, because going into the break with that win and you're under your belt as well must have been giving you a lot of pleasure. Yeah, definitely. It certainly makes life a lot easier just for everybody, and it's hard. There's going to be winners and ultimately losers, but it was good to get something out of that game at the end of that first round. It keeps things moving forward. The guys are in a better spirits coming into training and ready for the second round of games and a real stern test against Southern Knights. That first 40 minutes down in Melrose against Southern Knights, I think, was one of the best 40 minutes I've seen so far this season. You might be hoping for more of the same here today. Yeah, if we could, for 80 minutes though. Exactly, if we could repeat that 40 minutes, we'd be really, really positive. And I guess we've shown glimpses throughout our campaign so far of producing that, but it's the continuity and it's the consistency around being able to do that time and time again. Whereas it's where the group are at the moment, and it's trying to find that. And hopefully today we'll get more minutes together and string more phases together and put more pressure on Southern Knights. And let's talk about the squad as well. You've made some changes. You have to make changes. Really, this is really going to be a squad competition, isn't it? Yeah, it's good in a sense. It's frustrating in some ways because obviously it's not necessarily your choice in terms of the selections you're making. But with that, it's forced. It means that guys are getting opportunities and guys have to step up and that maybe wouldn't otherwise get that opportunity. So it's been really positive for us in giving guys opportunities, playing minutes. Because ultimately that's one of the big challenges for us as coaches, is to make sure we can give everybody the opportunity to play rugby, because dare I say it, that's what they all want to do. Absolutely. Southern Knights of course have a potentially top of the table clash against Watsonians next weekend. How much do you hope they're looking at that game and not thinking about this one? They can look at it as much as they wish for them. I think everybody's in the same position of each game has a significance, and if you take your eye off the ball, you do so at your own peril. So we've got to concentrate on today. I'm sure Southern Knights will be concentrating concentrating, very heavily on today, and then see what happens tonight, and then they can work for forward to next week. So.
Well, listen, we wish you all the best today.
No problem. Thank you.
Good to hear from both coaches ahead of this one. Boroughmuir Bears against Southern Knights is fast approaching. We're going to take a short break though, and then we'll show you some dramatic highlights from this week's FOSROC Super 6 action. Welcome back to Meggetland. Boroughmuir Bears against Southern Knights is fast approaching. 1:30 kick-off here, but let's take a look back at this weekend's action. Starting on Friday night between Heriots and Watsonians Rugby, and I can tell you this one was extremely dramatic.
Good evening from Myerside, where tonight the FOSROC Super 6 returns after a week's break. Can Heriots come here to Watsonians and win? They'd be the first Super 6 side to do so. They won the first meeting of the season at Golden Acre just a few weeks ago. Davis takes in again, ball smuggled right to him at the back. Heriots have to be careful, they took it down the last time. Davis going through, and the referee's going to give a penalty try. Heriots collapsing, and the referee goes under the posts. Just a few metres short. Davis is at the back.
Vantage 5, never back on side.
No, that's not been Fraser Hastie's half. He was caught offside once more, and that's allowed Watsonians to get round the corner, and Michael Badenhorst is the man who emerges with the ball. Good start to the second half from Heriots. Jones misses out Edwards. It's Kay breaks the first tackle, gets good support by Edwards and McMichael. Wheelred spotted the little gap, and he's away. Trying to get inside King, plays it back inside to Edwards. This could be a great score, and it is for Heriots. Stuart Edwards goes in at the corner. Side entry was Lewis Ball.
Bobby Kay's itching to go and get involved. Go on,
desperate,
Bobby.
Isn't he?
Go on.
Now they're driving in against a second advantage. That's two in the same move. The referee will go under the posts. Forbes back quickly, running into trouble. Edwards gets himself out there and he's hauled on. There's the penalty. Just takes a breath. Struck it cleanly. Looked good for the second, it left the boot.
Oh no.
The advantage has come side entry. Morrison digs it out. Here's Forbes. Outside on McPherson. McPherson well tackled, knocked out. Hill was there. The ball comes back. They'll touch on the inside. And the referee will say no advantage. This for the lead. Absolutely perfect from Mark Morrison. Saints have to keep this up. They don't want to concede penalty. They're coming round, they're trying to hold on, and the penalty does come. That was the scrimmage penalty that Heriots were looking for, and Nathan Chamberlain has got a chance to pop in between the posts for the win. Once round Myers' side. Steps to the side, gets it away. Does it have the distance and accuracy needed? It does! Heriots have come from behind to defeat Watsonians and hand Watsonians the first ever Super 6 defeat at home. It is joy for the men at Golden Acre, agony for Watsonians who lose with the last kick of the game. But Nathan Chamberlain held his nerve. You've got to give credit to the Heriots pack for winning the penalty. And what a night of rugby it's been at Myerside. A single point separates it, and a memorable double for Heriots.
Yeah. 2 yellow cards and you concede a penalty try and you still win the game. That get out of jail card has been well and truly used this.
A very warm welcome to Millbrae in Alloway, home of the Ayrshire Bulls on Ladies' Days. Bulls host today to Stirling County. They last met just 3 weeks ago, and that was settled in the most dramatic way possible, an injury time penalty from Stirling fullback Craig Robertson. Still driving up the middle. This time they move it all the way to the centre, and they're through, and it's the first score for the home team. Bursting through on the charge. Lovely score, very patient build up in midfield. Short of Matt Davidson. But up the middle they go, and there's the offload. That's what they were doing, and there's the other one. That's beautiful. That's exactly what they were practicing early in the game. Off the pitch before the rest of his colleagues join him shortly. And this is a huge drive, and that's absolutely perfect execution again. Robert Beattie put the ground very effectively there, but here's another penalty advantage, a second advantage.
Line and playing an advantage.
The try is given, I think. The try is given indeed. They have driven over. Townsend managed to create a bit more havoc than just confuse his own team. Oh, it's picked up, snatched and away. A break here by Ayrshire Bulls, number 13. He's going all the way, Robert Beattie. Picked up a loose ball and everybody froze. And then he goes, there's a breakaway here, and there's another score for the Ayrshire Bulls out of absolutely nothing. Absolutely. The Ayrshire Bulls only 5 metres or so out. War breaks and away they go, away to the far side. It's the easiest a walk-in try again on the far side for the Ayrshire Bulls. It's try number 7, and the route is virtually complete. In fact, this could very well be the last play if our clock has the referee's tally with it. Stirling pressing for a final score. Another penalty advantage coming, so the play will go on. Oh, he's given the score. It's a score for Stirling.
2 penalty advantage.
Somewhere in at the bottom of that. He's given that a good thump. And he's given it 2 points worth, and the referee has in fact decided that that is it. And the game is over. He is called no side, and what a superb performance by the Ayrshire Bulls, who have hit Stirling County for 7 tries at the end of the day. A comfortable win in this FOSROC Super 6 Championship. Man of the match for me was Yari Fantini, the Ayrshire Bulls, number 7.
Yeah, some real fantastic games there this weekend, and of course we have the final one of round 6, Boroughmuir Bears against the Southern Knights, coming up after this short break. Welcome back to Megatland on a wonderful and beautiful afternoon for rugby. Boroughmuir Bears against Southern Knights coming up now with Sean Lenine and Stuart McFarlane in the commentary box.
Yeah, thanks very much, Doogie. Welcome along to Megatland. There's a little bit of a breeze around Megatland this afternoon, but conditions otherwise ideal for the final match in this round 6 weekend. The FOSROC Super 6, of course, enjoying a mid-season break before competition begins again for these sides in just a couple of minutes' time. I'm delighted to say alongside me this afternoon is Sean Lenine. Sean, let's just take a quick look back at the results. We watched some highlights from the matches on Friday night. Real drama at Myers' side. Herrick's winning by 21 points to 20, and then Ayrshire Bulls very much in top form against Stirling County, 48 points to 17. But one thing you did say when you were talking to Doogie a little bit earlier is on their day all these sides can beat one another.
Yeah, definitely. There's Ayrshire Bulls. That's the second 40-pointer they've had recently. They also beat Harriers by a big margin, and they're hitting their straps nicely now. I was at the game on Friday night up at my side with Big Ewan Kennedy, the president of Watsonians, and you saw all the emotions he was going through. First half 17-3 up, went in very confident. Second half, Harriets came out and really tore them up. And at the end, they're getting that penalty to get the victory. That was, again, it just tightens up that table again, doesn't it?
There is the league table, and as you say, you can see how tight it is. Watsonians on top. Southern Knights with a win here at Megatland today would then return to the top of the table. Boroughmuir Bears, of course, 2 wins in the opening set of matches in the competition, right at the very start and at the end of the first portion of matches in the season. And of course, coming into this one after a 23-17 home win over Stirling County in round 5. So they're looking immediately above them at Stirling County and at Herriets to try and close in on a mid-table spot at the moment. We have to say that looking back, we've had some time to reflect on the first half of the season. I mean, there's some results just to give a picture of the competition as a whole, but you've been very impressed with the performances of many of these players.
Yeah, I really have, and it's also real credit to the coaches with the way they're coaching and getting the teams to play. All 6 teams are looking to use the ball. They're all looking to play rugby, which is great. 76 tries over the first 5 rounds. That's over five tries a game. That you've got to be impressed with that. I think the weather helps a little bit, but also the willingness for the players to throw the ball around. It's not perfect. There are lots of mistakes, but again, just the way that teams are looking to play, it's exciting to watch, and it must be exciting to play in as well.
Yeah, the Boroughmuir results just gone off the screen there with Boroughmuir 15-13 winners against Herriets in the very first evening. Tom Pittman's penalties earning them a win, and of course we mentioned their win against Stirling County. Let's have a look then at Southern Knights, that 24-all draw to start things off away at Stirling County. The one result I think they'll be most disappointed with, their most recent outing when they lost 32-21 to Watsonians, so they're a side hungry to head back.
Yeah, and I was up watching that game as well, and Southern Knights started off really well. They tore into Watsonians, so were up at half time and scoring a couple of really good tries. They had a couple of injuries in the second half. I think Jason Baggett got injured in the second half. They lost a bit of their momentum, and one thing you know about Watsonians, that they always stay in the fight. They're a tough team. Fergus Pringle's got them running really well, so they will be disappointed. Southern Knights, they're a team that likes to keep the ball off the deck. They're a team that likes to play multifaceted rugby, and they've got the players to do that. And, I'm looking forward to seeing a few of the young lads out here today. You look at Robbie McCallum, who's back. He's at Glasgow Warriors in the academies there. He's got a lot of talent, young Robbie at 12. So looking forward to seeing him play and linking up with Colleen Beretta, who's at 9 for Boroughmuir.
Yeah, 22-13 when the sides last met. Then let's have a look at the respective lineups. Tom Brown in at fullback this afternoon for Boroughmuir. Pittman and Berretto, of course, the halfback partnership you mentioned. Edmonds as well is a clinical left winger who sustained an injury in his last outing, but he's back in the starting 15. And I must say as well, from the Southern Knights point of view, a name that jumps out, Sam Pecour. Great to see Sam back, because he's had a fairly nasty time out with injury in recent times, has to be said. Yeah,
that's right. I remember having Sam with the 20s many moons ago. Very quick. He's only 27.
Yeah, he's always been around a long time.
He's been around a long time, Sam, but he's quick. Look, it's good that Southern Knights have got him. He's desperate to play some rugby, been involved in the sevens, and he's been, as I say, been around a bit. And the way that they play also, Andrew Mitchell at 12 as well. He's been injured recently. He's come across from Hoyk, and he's another name to watch out for. So that clash between him and Robbie McCallum in the middle of the field will be crucial.
Yeah, of course, Andrew Mitchell as well, with a lot of experience at age grade level with Hoyk. There are the respective benches as well. Martin Simprich won't have a number on his back, but we imagine we'll see him at some point during the course of the game. And there's plenty of threat and pace there. Boroughmuir opting for the 5-3 split on the bench. And Aubrey McCoob, when he has been on the bench coming onto the field of play, has made real contributions. James Head alongside Callum Cruikshanks, Sean Gunn and Russell Anderson as a clutch of forwards in the Southern Knights side. Team's about to come out of the tunnel. Our match referee this afternoon is Sam Grove-White, and Sam Grove-White alongside Graham Almiston, they were part of the Edinburgh-Newcastle Falcons game played at Edinburgh Rugby's new stadium yesterday afternoon. The applause then as Grant Shields leads the Southern Knights side out onto the field of play. And there a glimpse of Sam Picour, 27 years old, as Sean mentioned, a hugely experienced Scotland Sevens player, was part of the Sevens World Cup in San Francisco in 2019. And the replacements just making their way in front of us to their seats as we now welcome onto the field of play Craig Keddy and his Boroughmuir teammates ahead of this contest. Graham Shield, of course, he knows Melrose, he knows the Southern Knights surroundings very well indeed, but he'll certainly want to try and get back on level terms with a win over the Knights on home soil this afternoon. The interesting thing, Sean, about the last time these teams met back in the middle of August was, although Boroughmuir lost the match 22-13, for a lot of that game they bossed the contest and played very good rugby.
Yeah, they do, Stuart. They play some good rugby and they use up a lot of phases going around the corner, playing off 9 a lot. I'd like to see them use the ball a little bit more, so hopefully they'll do that today. But yeah, this is a big game for Boroughmuir. They really do need to win this one.
Sam Grove-White then in position. Tom Pittman will get this match underway. And Pittman's penalties earning a win early season for the home side. Chance now for Southern Knights immediately just to clear through Murdo McAndrew with the box kick from the 22. Boroughmuir players underneath it. Tristan Andrews is able to win the ball under no immediate pressure, but he was aware that there would be onrushing Southern Knights players on him if he didn't take clean ball. Beretto with that box kick from the 10, launched forward, giving chase. There is Glenn Faulds, but taken well by Jason Baggett. Southern Knights now have it through their back row forward. Harry Borthwick up and over halfway. McAndrew again looking to recycle, brings the loose head and captain Grant Shields into play. McAndrew just in behind on towards Baggett. Boroughmuir remains solid defensively with Andrews initially in the line to tackle. Across on that right hand side, Niall Godsmart trying to make some ground, doesn't bring Ian Sim into the game, but Sim joins in just to ensure possession will come back the way of the visiting side. Fraser Rennick prodded forward there by Murdo McAndrew, and that's a little touch finder down towards the 22, so an opportunity for some of the players on both sides to get an early touch of the ball and some pressure being applied by the visitors.
Yes, to Southern Knights looking to keep the ball there, going from side to side there. One thing I'd look at with these box kicks, you see a proliferation of box kicks over the last year or so. Why not remove the box kicks outside the 22? You should only be able to really kick a box kick inside the 22 at either end. So let's see more attack in the middle third of the pitch.
Line out taken there. The second row forward, Jack Fisher up, wins clean ball. Stay solid, Boroughmuir remaining upright, looking to try and strip the ball with Beretto in position. But Southern Knights just winning that little battle. Yeah, that's an interesting thought there, Sean, when you're talking about the box kick, and perhaps restrict them to a section of the pitch and only be allowed to use that, or
instead of maybe a number of times in the game just saying, no, you're only allowed depending on which position in the field that you have to be in.
Yeah, I just think inside the 22 is fine. You know, you want to relieve pressure, but when you're in between 22s there's other attack kick options you could use. You know, and just using the ball maybe a little bit more. You're basically saying our attack's not that good, let's get rid of the ball and give it to them. So, you know, yeah, it is definitely a weapon, but, you know, it hasn't been overused, I suppose, in the Super 6 as much, but even there at the drive there, there's a miscommunication between Rhys Tate and Colleen Barreto there.
McAndrew just feeding the ball into the scrum there. He's able to get it back. Niall Godsmark coming on to the right of knots there, so too Andrew Mitchell. Recycled there. McAndrew again looking for quick ball as the Knights just line up. Opportunity here for Rennick now to take the ball into contact, but a good blocked challenge coming in from Tristan Andrews. McAndrew again has a little glance towards the left-hand side, second row forward, Dalton Redpath, another Hoyk man with the Hoyk connections in the side like Mitchell, recycled on again towards Baggett, long loop pass out there to Godsmark, it's now with the fullback Kieran Clark into that 22, solid challenge coming in there, slowed up by Rhys Tate, recycled by the Southern Knights as they want to maintain the momentum, their backs just adjusting their position now, as again it's taken on by the forwards. Boroughmuir remain high defensively. Jack Fisher doing well just to slow up that latest Southern Knights attack. The Knights remain in possession of the ball. Baggett onto Godsmark. Now Clark has an opportunity, but he's caught just before the 5 metre line by Glenn Falls in a good solid challenge. Knights again led there by the front by Rory Knott. Sam Picour just adjusting his own position. It'll bypass him and has found the tight head hands of Ewan McLaren. Up towards that 5 metre line, McAndrew again, a long pass there, and it was just out of the reach of Andrew Mitchell. He couldn't get clean access to the ball. It's back with Biaretto. Now he launches a box kick from his own 5, only finds the hands of Kieran Clark. Clark again tries to sidestep his way out of trouble, but is tackled by Robbie McCallum. McAndrew goes in once again, has a look at who's alongside him. Dalton Redpath is able to carry. Dalton is certainly a figure that is bulked up in recent times. We've got a lanky figure when he appeared in the Hoyk first 15. The floated kick there from Baggett. The mark is called inside the Boroughmuir 22, and it remains scoreless with 5 minutes gone.
Oh, that was a long passage of play that. Again, Southern Knights very good at keeping the ball in hand. I went through the phases, and then unfortunately Andrew Mitchell just knocked that ball on. Not a great kick from Barreto, which gave Kieran Clark another chance to counter-attack then. So, you know, both teams are looking to use that ball. They just need to make sure now, or tall kick out there. And again, they're going to launch a counter-attack Southern Knights.
Yeah, literally down the very centre. Now here's Sam Picour again. We mentioned 27 years old, back from injury. And he'll be looking again to stake a claim for regular place at this level. Forced backwards though is Angus Runciman back towards that 10 metre line. McAndrew goes in, squats down, and he's able to find Baggett with the pass. On now towards the centres. Again, Southern Knights suddenly accelerating onto it is Borthwick up into that 22. Excellent running from the backs there, and the back row forwards joining in as well. McAndrew again looking this time towards Rory Knott, just trying to make some ground up towards that 5 metre line. Baggett has it once more, on this time towards Niall Godsmark, out towards the left hand side, and Sam Picour is in the right place, but the referee had already whistled. And there again an example, despite the forward pass, of how Southern Knights are clearly approaching the early stages of this game and how threatening they look, not just down the middle but out wide as well.
Yeah, definitely true. You can see they're passing the ball out the back quite a lot, using the width, they're realigning really quickly, and again Southern Knights, they need that quick ball to implement their game plan. Murdo McAndrew's clearing that ball really quickly. It is really good to watch. Harry Borthwick has started this game. He's actually played well all season for Southern Knights. He's been outstanding at number 6.
You were talking as well just before the start of the game about Southern Knights' execution when they've been inside the opposition half of the field. They are a clinical side.
Well, they were. I mean, they are. Andrew Mitchell obviously knocked on earlier on, but they do keep the ball for long periods of play, so you've got to have a very disciplined and organised defence, and Boroughmuir have been up to the task so far.
Biaretto feeding the ball into the scrum. Southern Knights, the coaching staff may be somewhat frustrated that they haven't points on the board at this stage in the contest. It's back from Biaretto to Pittman, and that's a touch finder just beyond the 22. Graham Ormiston raising the flag. As I say, along with Sam Grove White, was at Edinburgh's opening fixture of the season at home. Their pre-season match with Newcastle Falcons yesterday is now on the line at this FOSROC Super 6 clash at Meggetland this afternoon. Fraser Rennick just getting some instructions there from his captain and loosehead prop, and Grant Shields to the front of the line out. Shields just adjusting his position. It comes towards the back there. Bothwick does well to win the ball in the line. It's back towards Rennick. It's the ball tucked under his right arm and trying to make some ground. McAndrew's scrum half is just in behind, but they'll look to try and steer and direct this ball into the 22, and they manage to do so. Still with the Southern Knights hooker, and still they make some ground. McAndrew again just reaching in to get some clean ball. Peckour coming in off his wing, goes direct. He's got Mitchell in behind him, and again the Knights just trying to secure ball, which they've done so. On towards the tight head prop, second row forward. Dalton Redpath in position to try and continue forward. That seemed a high challenge there from Rennick, as Boroughmuir managed to win back possession on the edge of the 22. Tristan Andrews just over the ball as well, but the referee bringing play back for a knock on, as Southern Knights had lost possession prior to that collision involving Rennick, and it's still scoreless as we approach the 9th minute.
Yeah, Boroughmuir having to absorb an awful lot of pressure. The Southern Knights are going down the touch line, they're going through the middle, they're looking at the drive there, but again Boroughmuir stopped the drive. A little play off the back with Sam Peckour coming off the left wing, but again well dealt with by the midfield. So they're up to the task at the moment, Boroughmuir, and as you say, the coaches will be a little bit frustrated that they haven't got points on the board yet for Southern Knights.
Great to see Sam Peckour back and clearly involved in the action. Also players like Kieran Clark. I was watching a little bit earlier on today, Kieran Clark in action in the Gala Melrose Waverley Cup match in 2019, and just to see him then and to see him today, the progress that a player like that has made over the last 2 years.
Yeah, he was a year young with the under-20s last season and was just about there but not quite. So he is still under 20 this coming season, so we're looking at him in the fullback wing role. So yeah, he's got great feet, he understands the game really well, and I'd really like to see him open up in these wide channels.
And you look at Scotland under number 2, the position at hooker at international level, and the players and the skill set and the try scoring ability and their overall game. You know, we're certainly blessed with a lot of talent in that position. But somebody like Fraser Rennick is now 24, he's still looking to improve and look at what's in front of him.
Yeah, definitely. He's really worked on his footwork. He's always been a very good thrower of the ball. Again, strong at set piece time, but it's the stuff around the pitch now which he's really building into his game. The little tip-on passes, using his footwork a lot more now, getting that go forward, which is, you know, you're like a fourth loose forward really, aren't you, as a hooker, and he's developing that role nicely.
We've got sound from our referee's mic. Sam's go white.
Crouch!
That's official this afternoon in the middle.
Set!
And Fioretto will look to feed the ball into this Boroughmuir scrum. After the Southern Knights knock on the central in that 22. Fioretto then has a look towards
all stop, 6
and then launches forward. And that finds touch just almost directly below our commentary position, up towards the 10-metre line, but Southern Knights will have the throw in once again. Boroughmuir have had a lot of defensive work to do. They'll certainly look to try and get ball in hand and try and turn the tables on Southern Knights, but first and foremost it's about good defensive play.
Yeah, they're playing into the wind a bit too, Boroughmuir. The kicks aren't going that far, although the kick from Pittman there got up to the 10-metre line, which wasn't too bad, but again a lot of pressure coming from Southern Knights, and again we'll see if the Boroughmuir defence is up to it.
Rennick then with the throw-in. No scoring in the contest thus far. Reaching up and gathering, Southern Knights again executing the line out well and bringing Rory Knott into play at a rate of knots. On now towards Rennick. Tackle comes in there from Pittman. Again, McAndrew looks towards the right-hand side, brings Baggett into play. This is Andrew Mitchell. Mitchell is just slowed up, but tries to go again down towards that right-hand side. McAndrew will reach in, and is able once again to find Knott. These Southern Knights players is bundled backwards, a collection of forwards, including the tight head Dan Winning in there just to slow up the Southern Knights movement. A flat pass brings Rennick back into play. He just bundles what's in front of him out the way. Coming back now towards Baggett. Baggett now in towards Godsmart. Godsmart still has it. It's slowed up just short of that 22. McAndrew again, just trying to reverse the play, bringing Knott into play once more. The open side flanker is caught just shy of that 22. Pittman on now towards Clark. A flat pass to the blind side flanker, Harry Bothick. Into the 22 he goes. McAndrew will go across again and bring Mitchell back into play. And Southern Knights just occupying another position inside the Boroughmuir 22. Long pass there, but just a little bit hesitation on Rory Knott as he outstretched the right arm there in hand to try and gather the ball in. It's back now with Ian Sim on this right hand side. He's got time to run and accelerate up and over halfway. Sim, who spent much of his early career with Kelso, now very much a fixture with the Southern Knights. And now second row forward Angus Runciman takes play up towards that 10-metre line. Penalty being awarded to the visiting side. So score with 12 minutes on the clock, and here are the thoughts of Sean Lundeen.
Yeah, that was a great turnover there that Boroughmuir got. Unfortunately, Ronan Kerr decided to put a kick in, which was easily recovered by Ian Sim, and again they had another attack. So again, some good defence ultimately though. Tristan Andrews at number 8 there, managing to pilfer the ball, slowing it down. He gave away a penalty, but I think everyone was glowing by that stage. I think they needed a bit of a break. So an intelligent little intervention then from Tristan Andrews.
Southern Knights listening to their head coach Rob Christie talking about the last week or so. They've had a relatively quiet week after a busy 5 weeks of competition, but they certainly look sharp going forward. It's just ironing out the pre-season, as we say, being that little bit more clinical and switched on as they close in on the opposition 5-metre line.
Yeah, when they get quick ball, you can see how dangerous they are, and they're working incredibly hard off the ball. But so are the Boroughmuir defence. They're up to it at the moment. They're really working hard. They're filling the channels that they need to fill, and they're making the double hits and slowing the ball down when you need to slow it down. So Murdo McAndrew is not getting the ball on a plate all the time.
Graham Shield will certainly be very pleased with his side's defensive qualities shown so far. Angus Runciman winning the ball in the line out, trying to work it down the blind side. They managed just to roll their way over the line for the score. Again, there was just significant amounts of room in the blind side, and Southern Knights are up Ewan McLaren and Fraser Rennick, but the referee, apologies, no scoring, as the referee had, I thought, initially signalled the score, but eyes on the play, spotted the infringement. So Boroughmuir will escape, and that looked as if the defence for the first time was really creaking here. On it comes towards Clark. We'll get the thoughts of Sean Lundeen just in a second as we'll get a replay of that. Does Sam Fitzgerald again, but that bounces off the knee there of Andrew Mitchell. It's prodded forward and then it goes into touch. Yes, we did think that Southern Knights may well have been in for the score. The two front row forwards, Andrew Rennick and Ewan McLaren, were involved here. We'll get to see it again, Sean.
Yeah, nice little play around the front of the lineup, but again, I think this is Ewan McLaren needs to roll. I think you rolled once too many times, and you're not allowed to do that now. You've got to place that ball back very quickly. So clever innovation there around the front of the lineup, but again, a little bit messy.
Throw in now, Fraser Rennick spins the ball in the hands before looking to launch the ball into this lineup from the 10. Won well by Ian Moody. Southern Knights going forward, trying to reach halfway, joining in the drive as Harry Bothick.
Down by O'May, down by O'May.
Just adjust the position. Back to his feet there is Jack Fisher, who again just organises his defence. And again, another fine piece of defensive work from Boroughmuir, this time in the Southern Knights half of the field. And the scoreline remains nothing each between the sides.
Yeah, it's an interesting one actually. The refs are now looking at the attacking drive as well as the defensive drive. The number of times you see the defensive drive getting penalised. Now it's not just that, it can be the attack as well. And in this case, Southern Knights just held the ball up a little bit too long. They didn't get it out the back quickly enough, and as a result, Boroughmuir get a scrum and a great attacking position. First time I think they've been in Southern Knights half.
Yes, certainly first set play for them inside the opposition half of the field, and Bioretto, a couple of man of the match performances from him in recent weeks. Quite often you see him with a smile on his face, and that's a chance for him to feed the ball into this attacking scrum. So Graham Shields' side inside the Southern Knights half off the field. Bioretto just reaches in, and he's got 3 to look for and it was Robbie McCallum that was the first person to receive as it's worked its way out towards the left hand side. Again, Jordan Edmonds trying to make some ground. Bierretto in once more on towards Pittman, has a little look, just bypasses Andrews there and is carried forward by Will Ingles. Bierretto once again on towards Pittman, just on the angles the pass, and it comes out towards Ronan Kerr inside the 10-metre line. Bierretto will ship it back infield. Pittman has it, quick handling on towards Andrews again. Andrews just works his way to the ground there, shepherded to the deck by Dalton Redpath. Back towards Pittman again, outstretched arms there of the winger Glenn Falls across on that left hand side, supporting Edmonds, who's across there as well as the natural starting left winger. Boroughmuir now deeper into the Southern Knights half of the field than they've been so far in this match. A match almost 17 minutes old, and they're into the 22 now. There's a much better play from Boroughmuir going forward. Pittman still has it, but he's tackled well there by Rory Knott, looking for quick recycle ball. Bierretto thought about going on his own, almost half through there, but is eventually caught, and Southern Knights now very much on the back foot. Bierretto with the pass on towards Tom Brown there. Brown again with the offload. Ronan Kerr coming in outside centre. Recycled once more, on this time towards the second row forward, Jack Fisher. Fisher still inside the 22. Bierretto watching on as it comes back towards Andrews. Andrews goes to deck, short of that 5-metre line. Boroughmuir again looking at the reinforcements, bringing the front row in. Ross Dunbar starting at loose end this afternoon as it's recycled, and again continuing to go forward. Jack Fisher just behind the ball carrier, 5 metres now from this Southern Knights line. No scoring as Andrews tries to work his way around the corner, but Hugh McLaren with the tackle. Bierretto goes in just over the ball, but takes a step back as it's the forwards that are just taking over at the moment. Sean Lundeen watching on as this Boroughmuir side with by far and away their best spell of the match going forward as we approach 18 minutes gone, but Southern Knights have managed to get some turnover ball. It's back with Mitchell out towards the right hand side. Ian Simmel trying to cut his way up off the wing, plants the ball back. Clark back, works his way back in position. It's been knocked on by Boroughmuir. It was a short period of advantage played by Southern Knights. They're able to mop things up with 18.5 minutes on the clock. We still await the first points.
Yeah, that was some fantastic attacking play from Boroughmuir. They kept the ball alive, going from side to side. And Jordan Edmonds made some really good inroads on the left-hand wing. He bumped off about 3 guys down that side there. Colleen Bierretto getting to the breakdown very, very quickly. Recycled the ball really quickly. They could maybe have had a couple of options, more options off 10. Again, Southern Knights defence sorted it out pretty quickly. But then I'd like to see a little bit more happening off the turnover ball. You know, there was you could hear the coaches screaming down, Bob Christie and Lewis Carmichael and Ross Ford yelling to get the ball wide a little bit quicker than they did, and they basically had a really good opportunity to counter-attack from that turnover.
So we still await the opening score, but it has been a thoroughly entertaining opening quarter or thereabouts. We're just shy of the 20-minute mark as McAndrew will feed the ball into this scrum 5 metres from his own line, picked up there by the number 8 Ian Moody, looking to make some ground inside the 22 was Andrew Mitchell, but he goes to deck, and McAndrew again will deliver the ball towards Baggett, and Baggett then angles a kick down towards that 22. And Jason Baggett, again, I remember one of his very early appearances when he arrived and was playing for Melrose, and it was a player with real talent, but there was a few chinks in his play that they've been able to work out over the last few years. Yeah,
he's been playing, he's most probably the most consistent 10 in the Super 6 at the moment. That wasn't a great kick though, a bit of a sklaff. That's a funny wind at Megaland. It blows across to that side there and held up in the breeze a little bit. So again, a great attacking option for Boroughmuir.
Throw in then for Craig McKenzie. Boroughmuir opts to go long, but the referee spots the infringement in the line out.
You don't like that, Stuart, as a back. You're desperate, you're ready. There's a line out there just outside the 22. You'll have a pre-planned move all ready to go and a wonky throw. So that's unfortunate. But again, Boroughmuir do look impressive when they do keep the ball, so that they just need to look after that ball a bit better.
You're not the first international back that has said that very thing to me this weekend when something's gone awry at the set piece. But yes, the squint throw in the line out, and it provides the Southern Knights with an opportunity to feed the ball into this scrum. 20 minutes on the clock, and Boroughmuir, well, they've enjoyed a couple of minutes inside the Southern Knights, deep inside the Southern Knights half of the field, just to ease their defensive workload. No points on the board, but a thoroughly entertaining opening quarter to this contest. Godsmark again making some ground up and beyond the 22. McAndrew will look to recycle and does so. Path again just positions himself to carry. Boroughmuir, two players in the offside position there. Craig McKenzie and Dan Winning were both offside, so they get themselves back to their feet, and Southern Knights will look to make some ground through Jason Baggett down towards the halfway line.
Yeah, that was a bit messy there. They didn't need to give away that penalty. I think it was Craig Kitty, the back rower. He's played well for Boroughmuir over the last few weeks as well. But again, that's a much better kick from Jason Baggett to get into the back into Boroughmuir's half.
Just devouring some of the ground with that kick, which takes play up towards the 10-metre line, almost directly opposite our commentary position. And Fraser Rennick, with a look at this line out, he'll look to try and deliver a straight ball. And Southern Knights, of course, Grant Shield will provide instructions to his hooker. Across he goes. The word in the ear of Fraser Rennick. And it's an attacking platform again for the Southern Knights. Long throw again, one in the air by Borthwick. He's had a good start to the contest. Baggett comes towards Baggett again. Baggett had a look towards the right hand side, running into Robbie McCallum, who adjusts his defensive position. Rennick has it once again. Rennick is forced backwards again. Ronan Kerr this time outside centre with the initial tackle. McAndrew down towards Picour on this left hand side. Infield he goes, but tackled eventually by Craig McKenzie. Back it comes to Rory Knott on the edge of the 22. Biaretto calling on his players to get back into defensive line and cover. Mitchell was almost half through there, but Tristan Andrews with the tackle as it comes back now towards Clark. Clark is forced to the deck, and Southern Knights looking to recycle through McAndrew again. Once more, Southern Knights positioning their second row forwards to carry and make some ground. McAndrew opts to go towards the right hand side. He's able to bring Ian Sim into play. Sim up and just over into that 22. Again, Southern Knights organising themselves. Southern Knights feel that perhaps an offside decision could be coming, as Boroughmuir are playing a high defensive line. Baggett on again once more to Rory Knott. Picour goes in. McAndrew once again finds a Southern Knights jersey in the form of Angus Runciman. Over and over play is Harry Borthwick. The referee penalising Boroughmuir again on the edge of their 22 in a central position. And at this stage in the game, with no points on the board and 24 minutes on the clock, they're going to go for the posts.
I need a breather. There's a lot of huff and puff in the middle third of the pitch. You know, they're going through the phases, both teams, but especially Southern Knights. And again, the defences, both defences are up to the attack at the moment. It seems defences of both teams are on top. I'd just like to see them maybe use a little bit of play inside the 10 to support the 10 a little bit more. But yeah, they're certainly varying their attacking. They're attacking play both sides, but well deserved. You know, Southern Knights have had the better of the game so far.
Just walking across to the touchline, I could see Ian Moody grabbing a water bottle and handing one as well to Rory Knott, as all eyes now on Jason Baggett. And Baggett scored a try, 2 conversions and a penalty when the sides last met just back in August down at the Green Yards. Here he goes then for the first opportunity for points this afternoon. No problems at all, 3 points to 0, and Southern Knights, having lost a substantial amount of the first half thus far, 24-25 minutes in, find themselves leading by 3 points to 0.
And as you look to it with the analysis that we have now of all the teams, they analyse each other inside out, so they've had a week off as well. So looking at just how they know the way Boroughmuir know the way Southern Knights play, and vice versa with Southern Knights and Boroughmuir as well. So they know that they're both going to try and keep the ball alive, and the defences are doing really well at slowing that ball down.
Harry Borthwick winning the restart kick. Defences in some ways have been on top on both sides, and Boroughmuir called to do a bit of defensive work. Another box kick from just the edge of the 22. McAndrew underneath it on towards Tristan Andrews there, who gathered the high ball, and it's launched forward now. Kick and chase right into the hands of Baggett. Baggett, a rather flat kick, Andrews does well. Now he's got some green plane to run into. Up towards halfway. He's eventually tackled there by Ian Moody on the halfway line. Bierretto goes in. Again, he's looking to get his players on the move there, especially his hooker there, who was not the initial recipient of the ball. But Baggett also looking to adjust his defensive line. Bierretto once more looking to control the ball with the studs of that right boot to deliver a box kick. So Bierretto launches it from halfway up and over that 10-metre line. Procure underneath it, so too is Clark. That ricochets off the hands there of Glenn Folds, the Boroughmuir right winger, back towards Andrews. Andrews up towards the edge of the 22. Bierretto with a sharp pass out towards Pittman, now taken on by the inside centre McCallum, looking to bring the outside centre Ronan Kerr into play. Here's to sidestep and work his way out. Nice little one-handed reverse offload there on towards Will Ingalls. Just short of the 22. Bierretto again on towards Pittman once more. Now that pass goes a-begging and that goes astray, and that puts Robbie McCallum I should say, into some pressure situation, and Ian Sim was really up very quickly to ensure ball was going the way of Southern Knights. Jason Baggett then with that little box kick. Bierretto back inside that 22, and he's tackled to the deck. Real determination shown there by Kieran Clark, who's going to get back into position, but Boroughmuir still have possession of the ball. A 3-0 lead Southern Knights hold currently as we approach the half-hour mark in the contest. Some breeze around Meggetland this afternoon, but an ideal September afternoon for a FOSROC Super 6 clash between these sides. Boroughmuir again looking to Bierretto to box kick their way out to the 22. That then finds Baggett, the only man to get points on the board so far this afternoon. He takes play up through Dalton Redpath towards the edge of the 22. Southern Knights still they have it. Again looking at options to go direct or work it out wide. McAndrew again. Baggett now in position. Godsmark to his left, but he wants it to Picour on that right hand side. McAndrew gets it back once more. He's tackled inside the 22. Couple of Southern Knights players just over the ball, shepherding it at the moment. Ewan McLaren tried to make some ground at the tight head, and some frustration shown on the faces of the Southern Knights coaching staff as they knock on inside the 22, and we have reached the 28-minute mark in the contest, and Southern Knights leading by 3 points to 0.
Yeah, as I say, there's a lot of rugby being played in that middle third. A nice little inside ball there, Sam Procure going through and giving the offload into Murder McAndrew. One more offload and it would have been a try. So, yep, they need to just vary their play. They're doing it. The scramble defence from both teams has been exceptional. You know, they're defending their line with all their heart. So that's good to see. But again, we're looking at the way the game's going. Southern Knights are just starting to get on top. You can just see that going through the phases. But, you know, Boroughmuir defending very well.
A well-earned drinks break for both these sides. And what are both respective groups of players going to be talking about at this stage? I can see that Colleen Bierretto, for instance, is quite vocal just at the moment with a number of Boroughmuir teammates around about him.
Yeah, they're working pretty hard to get out of the 22. I don't know what that box kick there was, a bit of a nothing kick really. It gave them a chance, gave Southern Knights a chance to attack again. So maybe a bit cleverer with their kicks. They've spent most of the time in their own half, Boroughmuir, so they need to work out a strategy to keep the ball, but to get further up that field. So, you know, it's one of these games where both sets of coaches will be going, you know, we need to keep the ball, but we need to play in the right areas of the pitch. For Southern Knights, although we said at the beginning, the kiss of death really, commentators kiss of death, we said at the beginning Southern Knights are the best at converting chances into points. Well, twice now they've lost the ball inside Boroughmuir's 22.
Yeah, that double roll costing them when they had Fraser Rennick and Ewan McLaren in a very good position out towards the right hand side. I thought initially they were over for the score. The closest we've come to a try in the game so far, as Boroughmuir then through Bierretto, ball into the scrum. Andrews just at the back begins to lift himself up with the ball from the ground on towards the inside centre. Robbie McCallum up towards the 22. taken on this time by Rhys Tate. Great acceleration from Tate up towards halfway, needs some support. Bieretto to his right hand side. Tate's really accelerated close towards the opposition 22. It's shipped back now, and Boroughmuir have it through Pittman once again on the angle. Long loop pass out towards Edmonds on that left hand side. Tries to work his way into the 22 and does. Very close towards the touchline. They'll have to bring it back in field, and they find Jack Fisher. Fisher goes to deck. Boroughmuir have turned defence into attack very well there. But the referee is going to have a word with Ian Moody. Ian Moody's certainly, I think the referee has a brief word there with Ian Moody, because it seems to be Moody, the Southern Knights player, that has been penalised. And much better going forward there from Boroughmuir.
That was a great play there. Rhys Tate's showing a good turn of speed there through the middle. He's a quality player, Rhys. Again, under 20 in this year coming. He's got a lot of talent from Hoyk. Again, they'll take the 3 point. Tom Pittman will take the 3 points. So I think the reason for the penalty was there was a bit of obstruction off the ball there when Rhys Tate made that break, and you could see that he was looking around to pass the ball, and there was the support had been blocked, I think, from a couple of scrambled defenders from Southern Knights.
Bieretto was the closest player to him. There was no immediate opportunity for him to offload to his scrum half. As we watch on now, Pittman placing the ball on the tee. Southern Knights, Ian Sim just receiving a little bit of treatment, and Pittman, this would level things up. As we mentioned, he landed the 5 penalties that secured Boroughmuir their first win of the season on the opening night of the FOSROC Super 6 campaign back at the very end of July. As a look up at the posts, so not much wind to speak of around the ground. From a central position just beyond the 22, and Shawnee's not going to make a mistake from there. 3 points all.
Yeah, that's it. And I suppose it's what they deserve, really. Boroughmuir haven't been into Southern Knights half very often. When they have, they've gone in there with real pace, and they've moved the ball really, really well. So it's more about, I suppose, what Graham Shield will say at half time is, let's get in their half a little bit more often, quicker, and we've got the attack to really worry Southern Knights. At the moment, the game's just been played too much in Boroughmuir's half.
Yellow card is shown as well. Southern Knights down to 14 men, so they'll have to play the next 10 minutes without the services of one of the forwards. With that incident worthy of a yellow card as well. Moody up towards the 22. Boroughmuir will go.
9 users.
Again, Bieretto in a position to deliver the box kick.
5 back.
Forward it goes, up towards that left-hand channel again, but Clark is in position receiving it from his scrum half Baggett, and Southern Knights have carried over halfway into the opposition half. Murdo McAndrew with that box kick, that's over the shoulder there of his opposite number. That's just that a little bit too strong, and Southern Knights, well, that changes the complexion somewhat with them being down a man. An influential figure like Ian Moody being involved in the incident which led to the penalty that levelled the game at 3 points all, and perhaps a little opening for Boroughmuir going into half time to really test the visitors here this afternoon. Yeah,
definitely. That was a better kick actually from Colleen Bieretto, which allowed the kick chase to get up a little bit higher, put a really good tackle in, and then Murdo McAndrew just panicked a little bit, and the kick went dead. So yep, midfield scrum, great opportunity for Boroughmuir.
Right on halfway. The respective players are just going to, the front rows anyway, just biting over that halfway line. Bieretto in position again to feed the ball in. Boroughmuir with that man advantage, which will take us up more or less to half time. Bieretto feeding the ball into the scrum. Boroughmuir, well, there's the significance of the lack of Moody in the scrummage, and they're being encouraged to keep going forward. Bieretto just waiting patiently, controlled by Andrews. Out it comes then, on towards Pittman, out down that left-hand side, queuing up there. Ball didn't quite make its way out towards the left winger, Jordan Edmonds. But you can see that Boroughmuir are very much aware that there's going to be a few opportunities coming their way, you'd feel, before half-time.
I'm glad they played the advantage as well. Boroughmuir a very strong scrum against 7 men, but again they pushed it forward very well, and then they released it out through the backs. But again, would have liked to have seen a little bit more from that back attack, but at least the backs are having an attack, which is good to see.
and then angles the kick down towards the 22. So yeah, just to reiterate, Ian Moody is the player yellow carded after Boroughmuir were awarded the penalty to level the game at 3 points all. We're into the final 10 minutes of this first half. Boroughmuir with this set play inside the Southern Knights half of the field.
He didn't.
Craig McKenzie with the throw in. Referee Sam Grove-White just at the back watching on for any interference in the line. A short stab throw in eventually.
No.
He goes.
You guys, you stay down. Hooker, you get the ball in quicker. Same line out, we'll go again.
Line out, reorganise.
You're going up early, he's taking
Sean,
his time.
I can see is
moving
about you've got your game head on as a player, rolling back the years, how you would be out there on the pitch. You'd almost be on hot coals at this moment in time, just wanting them to get on with it.
I'll be doing a lot of talking anyway. I'll be doing a lot of talking, doing a lot of action. But yeah, they need to win this ball and really hit hard and get around that corner, get the quick ball that. Oh, they've lost the line out now, it's unfortunate.
That just seemed to go over the head there of Craig Kerry, and it comes back now towards Southern Knights. And Boroughmuir players perhaps in off their feet.
Slow that ball down by going off feet.
Yep, diving in there at the tackle situation off their feet, penalised by the referee Sam Grove-White. And Baggett will be able to play downfield. So again, from a forward attacking position, Boroughmuir will feel that they should and could have done more there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Again, just an overthrow, misunderstanding. But again, got to be a bit more clinical. The line out, especially around that 22 mark. Boroughmuir had a really good opportunity there. 5 minutes to go before half time, and they've let Southern Knights off. Put a good kick again. Now they're back into their own half.
On your front man, please.
Fraser Rennick then with the throw for the Southern Knights. Of course, any kind of win for the Southern Knights this afternoon would take them back to the top of the table ahead of a clash with Watsonians next weekend. For Boroughmuir, they're looking immediately above them at Stirling County. A win would let them leapfrog Stirling County and take them off the foot off the table. So a lot riding on this contest just in terms of the sides' respective positions in the table of 6. Rennick then joining in the drive after the throw-in. Has the ball tucked under his right arm just on the halfway line. Southern Knights, of course, without the services of their number 8, but they're still able to go forward just now. McAndrew is able to reach in now, has a look at what's in front of him there. Once again, they reset, reorganise. Out it comes now. Shields looks to make his way forward. Can just about get towards the 10-metre line, and will come back towards Baggett. He aims that down into the 22, just on that 15 channel, and the ball just carries over the line, and Boroughmuir
stop in front
from their own try line play the ball downfield. Kieran Clark watching on, just right on the touchline there. Assistant referee near side is Graham Ormiston, and well, that was in the end a very good exit there from Boroughmuir. Tom Brown was back in position and launched one forward right up to halfway.
That's a 50-metre kick. That's a fantastic quick kick into a strange kind of win. Look, I've been really impressed by Colleen Brito. He is everywhere. He's running back to collect kicks. He's in the line to defend. He is really the energy of this Boroughmuir team.
An excellent delivery downfield. Bioretto certainly showing signs of someone who's a big player in this Boroughmuir side. Tapped back there very deliberately by Borthwick. Back inside the Southern Knights half off the field, and the Knights, the 14 men, will look now again to their blindside flanker Harry Borthwick to make some ground close towards the touchline there, the tram lines. Boroughmuir again will work it through Bioretto. Will get ball through the hands on towards the hooker here, Mackenzie. On now towards Dan Winning. Tried to work his way around the corner. Advantage coming the way of Boroughmuir. Southern Knights penalised for a knock-on. Comes towards Andrews now. Full-back Tom Brown out towards this left-hand side, and outside centre Ronan Kerr provides position and an option up towards the halfway line. They look to recycle again. Bioretto once more, just short of the halfway line. Andrews goes in, and the referee has signalled a roll away infringement from Southern Knights, and Pittman.
He chose to go the way of the night, and he must go the other way.
This kick down towards the 10-metre line on beyond, and Southern Knights back pedal as Pittman again from hand from inside his own half of the field launches one down, which is safety first, but he's made decent distance with that.
Yeah, a lot of the kicks to touch have been very good. You know, that's another good 40-metre kick there from Tom Pittman.
If he goes that way,
that was a little bit of cynical play from Fraser Rennick. Actually, there was a quick ball coming and he just bumped Colleen Barreto out of the way there, so a deserved penalty. And let's see if Boroughmuir can win this one.
Coming up to half-time, Craig McKenzie then is going to feed the ball into the scrum. Sean Lanied heading down to join Dougie Wypond pitch side at half-time as Harry Bothwick has now released the open side flanker Rory Knott up and over that 10-metre line. Back towards Godsmart, they're receiving it from his scrum half. Godsmart, brilliant acceleration here from Godsmart. Southern Knights now with McAndrew, caught just short of that 22. They look to try and recycle, but the referee puts whistle to mouth there and penalises the Southern Knights players just on the edge of the 22.
Hold him.
Godsmart, lovely sidestep, good acceleration. McAndrew again with the goose step, just to try and make some ground. Goes to deck there, and the ball, there's no means of him making that ball playable to teammates, so they're penalised for retaining possession of the ball. The referee has a quick glance at the watch, and very little added time at the end of this first half. It's been a pretty breathless first 40 minutes. 3 points all, just 2 penalty goals. The first landed by Jason Baggett in 24 minutes. Tom Pittman with a penalty to level things up in 31 minutes. A yellow card shown to Ian Moody. Southern Knights, well, they've played almost the 10 minutes of that yellow card without any further scores being added by either side. The officials will head into the changing rooms. Southern Knights themselves had the best try scoring opportunity, but a double roll was the infringement, and Fraser Rennick and Ewan McLaren tried to open up from a line out 5 metres from the opposition line. There is the half-time score line. As I say, down pitch side, we'll hear from Dougie and from Sean. 3 points all, then the score at the interval.
We've been on it, baby. Nobody's... Here's the screen. That's what we're looking.
Okay.
Yeah. This is penalty. No problem. This is Baggett's kick. The next penalty coming up.
And there's a special deal for Boroughmuir members. So book yourself a table or table of 10, or just bring yourself along. There will be a guest speaker.
Yellow card.
Yet to be announced.
Penalty.
Also, as I said earlier, we do have an alcohol license for the stadium today. So if you want to get yourself a beer or whatever, bring it down. You're more than welcome.
This is the Knights getting through. You can do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's towards the end of the half. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Right. This is yeah. Yeah. So we've got a minute. Yeah. No bother. We'll do that. So he's got a minute of of Boroughmuir sucking it up, and then you got, in fact, it was the other way around. Actually, and then we've got 2 minutes of Knights sort of sucking up that Boroughmuir defence, that Boroughmuir attack. Yep. It'll be fine.
You just leave me the way.
Yeah, man, amazing. Welcome back to Meggetland at half-time. After 40 minutes of confusing and frustrating rugby at times, it's 3 points apiece. A penalty each. Southern Knights got ahead early on, and Boroughmuir Bears evened things up just before half-time there. Sean Lineen's been here watching the game. He's been in co-commentary as well. And some of the guys are staying on the pitch. In fact, Boroughmuir Bears out on the pitch talking about what they're going to do in the second half, because a few weeks ago, Sean, I guess, they went down there to Melrose and put in a massive first 40 minutes. However, both sides have struggled after the break to get into this one, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have. Look, they're keeping the ball for long periods of play. The ball and play time's huge. But again, a lot of the game's been played in the middle third of the pitch. The ball is not quick enough of the time for the attack to get on top. I've been really impressed with the scramble defence of both teams.
Yeah.
Not a lot of footwork going on. They're bashing into each other a lot. So, both nines are having to work really, really hard. So Boroughmuir will be happy, actually, I would think, at half-time. They've tackled their hearts out. But again, they've got to have a big shift in the second half as well. And you can see how desperate they are.
Yeah. I was going to talk about the highlights from the first half. So given that there's not a huge amount, let's talk about your tennis match this morning.
No, don't talk about that. It was absolutely appalling. That's all I can say about that. It was embarrassing and lost quite comfortably.
So let's talk about the penalties in this game now. We know about it. So we've got the Knights, but the majority of the pressure in that first half, certainly for the first 20-25 minutes, the Knights had the majority of the pressure. Penalty came and taken very well it was too.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at what they and it's no more than they deserved, really. They had a lot of, you could hear the coaches, the Southern Knights coaches from the sideline there yelling at them to move the ball. They had the majority of the ball in the first half, but again, they were met with a real good wall of defence there from Boroughmuir. But again, you really got to keep your discipline when you keep the ball for long periods of time. The defence have to keep the discipline, and there's the yellow card there. Just again, not rolling away, slowing the ball down. But again, it's quite easy to do when there's no footwork, and I think that's one of the things in the second half that the coaches will be saying is to try and get a little bit more of a fend, a little bit more evasion, and get that quick ball that both teams need to get their attack going.
The penalty, of course, was taken very well as well, and over nice and easy. It's a lovely day for kicking, actually. There's no wind at all here in Edinburgh this afternoon. It's a lovely, lovely day. So let's talk about some of, there have been some breaks as well. This is the Knights putting together a little bit of play. They were actually kind of passing pretty well. A couple, both teams coughed it up too often in that first 40, but, there was some nice rugby from time to time.
Yeah, but again, keeping the ball off the deck's really important, and not enough support lines there. But again, there's been quite a few turnovers, as you've mentioned, and I suppose what we'd like to see is just these turnovers, a bit more attack happening from the turnovers. They seem to die out as well, and then a poor kick would come along. Some of the kicking's been outstanding. The kicking to touch, Tom Brown had a big 50-metre job down the right-hand side, absolutely fantastic. But from hand, there've been a couple of poor box kicks, a couple of wayward kicks after a turnover. So again, you like to think they'd make better decisions next time.
If you're an attack coach, you're not going to be happy after 40 minutes, but if you're a defence coach, you're going to be absolutely delighted, because this is Boroughmuir Bears soaking up a lot of pressure.
Yeah, they work really hard off the ball. They've got really good. Davey Wilson's the defence coach at Boroughmuir. He's done a great job there. A lot of double tackles, trying to hold the attacker up, and ultimately that slows the ball down, and it allows the defence, as happens here, as you can see, they can get into line really quick and get ready for the next tackle. So it's all about slowing the ball down. There's a good little run from Fraser Rennick and an offload, and that's what they need to do more of. They need to keep the ball off the deck, look at the offloads, and get that quick ball.
Do you think that perhaps that that in the first half that Muir perhaps had to soak up a bit more pressure than the Knights? But there were points during that game when Muir got it together. Okay, they did cough up, but when Muir got it together, Knights' defence has been pretty strong too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when you look at just the way that Boroughmuir are trying to play out, the first time they got into the Southern Knights half, they ran. There's a poor pass there, but you need to get those passes in front. Jordan Edmonds down the back there. He's a hard man to put down. Always gets the go forward. He's getting man and ball, unfortunately, every time he gets the ball. Nice early pass, and again, they're running with real venom there. You could see that, but they need that. There's Kaleem Burritos there, nice and quick. Really nice quick pass. So they've got the patterns, they've got the all sorts of little attack options in play, but it's going from side to side. There isn't that much go forward at the moment, which is making it easy for the defence just to get up and make those double hits that slow the ball down. Let's talk about
Kaleem Burrito though, because we're not seeing a lot of him in this footage, but he is everywhere. I mean, he's been man of the match twice, even in games when Boroughmuir haven't won. He's been man of the match. He's such an exciting player to watch, isn't he?
It's the unseen stuff he does as well. He's a really good team player for a scrum half when he's in the line for defence. So sometimes you have what we call a bobby, where the 9 hangs behind the front line of defence, but Kaleem's in there. He wants to make those tackles, make it really difficult for the defence. So having a brave 9's really good, and when they kick deep, he's sprinting back to retrieve the ball. So he's all action, and it's great watching him play.
The second half is going to be all action. The first half was disappointing. 40 minutes of, let's hope, better rugby coming up after this short break. Very disappointing. This is Doogie checking to Stuart. Doogie checking to Stuart. I'm going to throw to you. Welcome back to Megatland on a fine afternoon for free-flowing rugby. The first 40 minutes, we haven't seen much of it, but the Southern Knights are a side that tend to do that very often in second halves. It's coming up right now here on Free Sports with Sean Lenine and Stuart McFarlane.
Yeah, thanks very much, Doogie. Welcome back to the start of the second half. Doogie down pitch side, Sean Lenine just making his way up towards the back of the stand. Southern Knights spent the half-time interval in the dressing room, and Boroughmuir players were out on the pitch for the interval. George Cave has come on for Ross Dunbar at the start of the second half for Boroughmuir, and Sean Gunn, James Head also replacements for Southern Knights. So 3 changes
to personnel at the interval.
Boys, just stay outside, man.
Sean Lanine's made good time back upstairs to the commentary box, and Sean, both these sides will have had plenty to say, I would imagine, at half-time as we get this second half underway. That ricocheting off the forearms there of Tristan Andrews. Double knock on, Boroughmuir first to infringe, and the Southern Knights have this chance on the 22.
Yeah, both teams at half-time will be looking at the defences of both teams have been very strong. It's more to do with the attack, getting that quick ball, maybe looking down the short side a little bit more, varying it a little bit more, but you know, you can see Boroughmuir are so desperate. You know, they're at the bottom of the table at the moment. They've played some good rugby
Same as the first
through the
half,
rounds,
lads.
but
Good
they're at
patience.
home now. They want to win this game. Southern Knights come out in the first half, played all the rugby for large periods of the game, and the defence, Boroughmuir defence, was up to it. So, you know, really good opportunity now though for Southern Knights. Again, on the 22, scrum right-hand side, really good chance to get a good move going.
McAndrew then feeds the ball into the scrum. Dioretto watching on. McAndrew picked up there by Ian Moody, back on the field of play after the yellow card, serving the final 10 minutes of the first half in the sin bin. Recycled again, one of the replacements we mentioned, Sean Gunn now inside that 22. McAndrew again will look to reverse play back in towards Baggett there, and towards that left hand side. Baggett will come on the right hand side this time, and with Rory Knott, open side flanker into the 22. McAndrew in behind, here is Baggett. Bypasses James Head, but finds other half-time replacement, Sean Gunn, inside that 22. Again, McAndrew has a look at the options. Baggett, little reverse pass, brings Godsmark into play. Good solid challenge though, made by Dan Winning. And recycled. Southern Knights will look to again bring their scrum half to try and dictate tempo. Boroughmuir have a player down inside their own 22 at the moment, but play continues with Baggett just inside the 22, finding Clark. Clark is tackled, is able to offload one-handed. Southern Knights up to within 5 metres of the try line again. McAndrew tries to work his way around that left-hand corner. And now trying to form a ruck there as the Southern Knights still camped 5 metres from this Boroughmuir try line. Ian Moody again involved in the action there. Boroughmuir players rolling away. Tristan Andrews gets back to his feet. Southern Knights sensing this a try scoring opportunity, but Boroughmuir have been very solid defensively in the game so far. Ian Moody though, a strong right hand there. He was able to reach across, use his huge frame to find a break in the Boroughmuir defensive line, and Ian Moody, who was yellow carded the 30th minute of the game, comes back out onto the field of play and delivers us the first try 2 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, he instigated the move as well from that right-hand scrum, picked the ball up from the base and made a good little break there. And then they went through the phases again. They were pretty persistent there. They didn't rush it too much again, straight through the middle, and a great little cameo there from Ian Moody. But that's what they've been doing. Southern Knights have been keeping the ball for large periods of time. That time in the 22, they kept the ball.
Now with them scoring the try, do you feel this opens the game up somewhat? If Baggett lands the conversion, they would have a lead of 7 points. It's currently 8-3 at the moment. It does change the complexion of the game somewhat at the start of this second period.
Yeah, it just shows you how important it is to win your restarts. First restart of the game, Boroughmuir knock it on, give Southern Knights a great opportunity, great position from a right-hand scrum, and that's the result. You know, could be a 5-pointer, but maybe a 7-pointer, and it just swings a little bit in favour of Southern Knights. You don't really know which way the wind's going at the moment with the kicking game, but that's important. Yeah, he's got it as well. 10-3. That's a really good kick from Jason Baggett.
Baggett then marches back with purpose into his own half of the field. A little bit of treatment to the second row forward, Dalton Redpath, and the referee has just time off at the moment as Redpath continues to receive treatment just around the right thigh, strapping being applied. We get to see that try again. Ian Moody reaching out with that strong right arm and right hand, and not the easiest of skills, but if you've got a hand that is large enough to control the ball one-handed, when you've got players around you trying to disrupt and dislodge the ball, you can often end up scoring tries in these situations. Here is the aforementioned Redpath getting that thigh strapped, but Ian Moody will feel a bit better. And he's made a contribution.
He's been away for 10 minutes and come back and made a statement there. So yeah, Boroughmuir need to respond really quickly now. They need to get this ball and really stay down in Southern Knights half.
Pittman then with the restart finds Harry Bothwick. Of course, Boroughmuir 23-17 winners here a fortnight ago, just before the mid-season break, winning the first and fifth matches in that opening portion of the season. Box kick from McAndrew, and underneath it now is Tom Brown. Brown again from hand, downfield, again finding Baggett. Baggett now adjusting the line, crossfield kick is gathered in this time by Jordan Edmonds. Edmonds then up and over that 10-metre line. Still he's going. He's huddled a few challenges in the game so far. Tremendous determination there from Jordan Edmonds. He's eventually wrapped in the tackle there by Godsmark, but he's found ground up towards that 22. Biarretto's got a gap. Biarretto into that 22. The offload this time taken on by Craig Kenny. Much better attacking play from Boroughmuir here. Short of that 5-metre line. Biarretto has it again. Looking at the options, cutting back infield. And the Boroughmuir players queuing up, but Ian Moody with the tackle. And Southern Knights are back on defensive duties, having taken the lead, leading by 10 points to 3 through that Ian Moody try. The momentum of the attack has dropped ever so slightly as Andrew again, Kenny just taking it in turns to try and make some ground deeper into that Southern Knights 22. Second row forward, Jack Fisher takes the ball up close towards the try line as the Southern Knights coaching staff just along from us look on somewhat anxiously. Boroughmuir again, Andrews doing well to plant the ball back, to make it available to teammates. All very messy and untidy as the backs are primed and ready, but it's the forwards that are trying to work it. It's from the scrum half to the fly half. Pittman's pass on towards the full-back Brown. He was floored there though. Biarretto has it, long look pass out towards Edmonds. One-on-one situation, opens up. And a similar try, the outreach, right arm and hand, planting the ball down. An excellent Boroughmuir score, determination and just perseverance paying off in the end. And it was that outstretched outreach of the right arm and the right hand, and a solid touchdown. And Jordan Edmonds, well, he's been an important figure and a clinical figure when he's been presented with try-scoring opportunities this season.
Yeah, great response from Boroughmuir there. Jordan Edmonds at the heart of everything. A wayward kick again, ran it back fantastically well. I mean, that's a 40-metre run back with guys clinging to his back. And again, Boroughmuir looked after the ball, kept the ball. Kaleem Barreto kept the tempo high when it was needed. Again, they then had the discipline when the ball was slightly slower, just look after it, and when it was on to go left and give that ball back to that man, Jordan Edmonds, and again there was no stopping him.
Conversion attempt from close towards the touchline. Pittman, who's been very effective with conversions and penalties during the course of the season, has been a very consistent performer in a Boroughmuir jersey, and now an opportunity to add to his personal tally this season. Take his time as he glances up towards the post and then down to the ball, right on that 22, just a metre and a bit in from touch. Ball swinging in, and it just off the left upright there. Couldn't be closer. Pittman then watches that conversion attempt come back off the upright. It means that Southern Knights remain in front, but the margin is now 10-8. Sean, in an attacking sense, this game has very much come into life in the last 7 minutes, more or less since the start of the second half.
Yeah, there's real intent there, isn't there, to attack, and again they would have used up a lot of juice in the first half, so they left some tired bodies out there. Replacements are going to play an important role as the second half goes on. Yeah,
this is when you assess your squad depth and talent. As Andrews again, this time it's a clean restart. That's where Boroughmuir went wrong at the start of the second half when it was untidy and knocked forward, but this time they secured possession and they're trying to work it now up towards the edge of their 22. Biarretto involved, and everything is back in the action again. Stretches in, now reaching in to deliver the box kick. In flight on the angle, sails over the head there of Ian Sim, bounces into touch.
Thanks, Bob.
Sam Neils raises his flag. He's now the near side assistant in this second half, and it will be a throw in here. Anderson going to throw in here for Southern Knights.
We'll get it.
And the last 6-7 minutes have given a lot for these players to think about, John.
Yeah, they're taking the time with this line out as well, which again, Sam Grove White would tell them to hurry up. Again, I would like that kick from Kaleem Barreto to have gone a bit further, because it's a good attacking platform for the Knights now.
Southern Knights
Ball. Stay out.
finding Russell Anderson making some ground, reaching in is Murdo McAndrew. It's still with the replacement hooker as Southern Knights have made some ground. Remember, they're back to a full complement of players, have been since the start of the second period. McAndrew then on towards another replacement that's come on. You can see Cameron Scott also on the field of play, so they're beginning to come on in more regular intervals now, and that's perhaps an illustration of the hard work that has gone in that first 40 minutes and the need to freshen things up.
Yeah, that was just a miscommunication there. A little pass out the back went to no one. 15. Jason Beckett did well to recover, 15. But again, Boroughmuir on it quickly. And you can see they are desperate. They've got the ball again now, so again you'd like to think they'll move the ball down deep into the Knights half.
Another change for Southern Knights. Joseph Jenkins on the field of play in place of Kieran Clark. I'd imagine Clark will be relatively happy with the contribution he's made as he just takes his seat in the stand just in front of us. And a chance now for Jenkins. So Jenkins, Cameron Scott, Sean Gunn and James Head. I think along with Russell Anderson, that's 5 replacements made by Southern Knights in the match so far. We've played 50 minutes. Sam Grove-White not entirely happy with the forwards in this.
Make sure you don't go back, don't go forward.
There may be some indication too, Stuart, just of how hard the first half was there. Attrition rate, getting 5 replacements on pretty early in the beginning of the second half there. It says the intention of the Knights. And the way they play as well, they use the bodies up, you know, they use the juice up a lot, but with the ball in hand game. But good position now for Boroughmuir.
And we mentioned the table, we mentioned the respective positions of these sides. I mean, there's a lot at stake even at this stage. This round 6, important games still to come as Pieretto looking to feed the ball in, but Boroughmuir, a win would lift them off the foot of the table. Southern Knights could go back to the top if they were to win the contest. It's rather untidy, and McAndrew was almost onto the ball there, but the referee spotted the double knock on. And it will be a Southern Knights put in this time as they've made some ground into that Boroughmuir half of the field.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, especially when you think about it. That's Boroughmuir putting the impact of the subs obvious there with Russell Anderson and Sean Gunn in the front row and James Head in second row there in the engine room. Was just too strong. There's a few replacements now in the front 5 for Boroughmuir.
Finlay Scott on the field of play, Rory Drummond as well. So some changes, and these players, certainly a lot of defensive work in the first half. Great determination shown. Jack Fisher is one of the Boroughmuir players replaced. On Craig McKenzie, the other player as well, is on for Finlay Scott. Or rather, Finlay Scott on for Craig McKenzie, I should say.
Crouch. Bind.
McAndrew then just gets into position. Ball goes into the scrum. Bit of forward momentum. There's not been too many reset scrums in the match so far, but alongside an international back, international centre, I'd imagine any reset scrum is it gives you an opportunity, gives you some ammunition to stare down the backs of those in the front forwards.
Look, it's an important part of the game, and I've gone through to Glasgow often enough with the likes of Eddie Pollock and a lot of scrummaging coaching, listening to them for an hour and a half talk about scrummaging. They love it, and it's a great part of the game. It's a platform to attack, and that's why the opposition defence are meant to be back 10 metres, looking to use different ways to attack from the scrum, not just to eke out penalties.
McAndrew again into this reset scrum. Moody swinging round. Penalty awarded to Southern Knights from that 10-metre line. It'll be interesting to see what they opt to go for there. So Southern Knights winning that little battle. Big smile on the face of Ian Moody. Baggett. So I think it was the tight head prop Dan Winning that was the player penalised. He's looking back in the direction of the referee Sam Grove-White, who's in conversation. And I think Dan Winning feels somewhat aggrieved. The decision has gone against him and his forwards. And Baggett down towards the edge of the 22.
again, they're meant to be speeding up this line-out play at the moment. Another frustrating part of it, you know, they've done the kick, they should know what line-out they're doing maybe a little bit quicker. But a great opportunity again for the Knights. They're in a really good position now. Looks like they've set piece-wise, certainly at scrum time, they're up a little bit now. They've got the dominance there that they wanted.
You can see that Sean Gunn coming across. It's picked up just at the back of the line there, on the edge of the 22.
An unfortunate throw from Russell Anderson there. They had a really good opportunity. Give everyone a little bit of a breather, but it's still very, very tight. A long way to go. You know, 10-8, still all to play for, and Boroughmuir, you just sense that, you know, they'll need to get down the other end of the pitch pretty shortly.
Full shoulders, no slingshot. If it causes instability, it will
feed the ball into this scrummage here.
No slingshots, both eights.
Loretto alongside Murdo McAndrew.
Crouch. Bind. Sit.
Loretto feeding the ball into that scrum. Pittman just up towards the edge of the 22. Recycled once more. Up and over the 22. Boroughmuir go, making some ground. Loretto outside the 22.
No, use it.
Andrews goes in just to provide some cover. Box kick now delivered downfield there by Loretto. On rushing players, Ian Sim underneath that high ball.
Right back, play
and
on, play
forward
on.
It comes towards Baggett. Sam Picour now on the edge of the 22. Did very well to secure possession of the ball and then make some ground going forward there. It's recycled now by McAndrew towards the left-hand side. Some ground and good ground made by Jenkins, who looks to get involved in the action as Southern Knights have found their way up towards the halfway line. Comes back once again, back infield, and this time Russell Anderson is forced to deck just before he can reach the halfway line. Recycled back towards that left-hand side, and 3 Southern Knights players are out on the left. Penalty awarded to Southern Knights, and Boroughmuir, they're closing the door on several occasions. It was a good break from Joe Jenkins, who will need to get himself involved in the action since coming off the bench. But because these sides know each other so well, there'll be very few surprises, I'd imagine, that will be delivered.
Yeah, they're going back down the short side, the Knights there, which is the right thing to do. But again, Ronan Kerr just maybe a silly little indiscretion there, which gave him easy out for the Knights, and resulting in a penalty. And that's not what you want in that part of the field. Another kick to the corner, they'll get near the 22 and have another Knights line out. So yeah, the pace has slowed down somewhat. The players are obviously feeling it a bit. There are a few replacements on, so they'll be feeling their way into the game. But again, it's all to play for at 10-8.
Really not. Some treatment being applied to that left shin. Another chance for the players to have a breather. Joe Jenkins, quick conversation there with Ian Sim. And Sim drifts across towards this right-hand side. Of course, Patrick Anderson was one of the players, along with Daniel Sutton, who's been part of the Edinburgh squad. And Patrick Anderson was on the field of play yesterday as part of the Edinburgh-Newcastle Falcons match. And of course, we've got the usual number of replacements, but yesterday at Edinburgh Rugby's new stadium, Edinburgh had 17 on the bench. I think Newcastle Falcons had 14 replacements as well. So they brought a substantial squad of players to take part in that pre-season match. Newcastle Falcons winning in the end. But again, some really entertaining rugby played as those sides just ready themselves for another league campaign, which will get underway in a couple of weeks' time. Back to the action here, and the Southern Knights finding Ian Moody in the line-out. Secure ball by Anderson. Back it comes, and again they look to try and break, running into Pittman there with Sean Gunn. Gunn winning that little battle. It comes back now towards James Head. Head now up into that 22, looking to recycle ball. And Southern Knights again looking at the options as it's picked up once more, trying to work it round the left-hand corner there. Boroughmuir remain tight defensively, determination shown by Harry Borthwick, a powerful figure, and he's got a decent turn of pace on him as well. And it's his determination that has taken him close towards that try line, 5 metres short of the line. Southern Knights look to recycle again. Once more, Borthwick right in the thick of the action at the moment. Drummond just tries to slow up the latest charge. It was all in his chest and in the stomach there, but he managed to do the job. The referee, though,
20 offside twice.
Eyes on Boroughmuir's number 20, Rory Drummond. We applauded his efforts defensively, but he strayed offside on 2 occasions.
No more chatter.
And that provides Southern Knights with another platform well inside the Boroughmuir 22, Sean.
Yeah, that's what I'd love to see, a little breakout line-out play from the Knights there, peeling around the back. Russell Anderson accelerating into Tom Pittman and running over the top of him there to get that momentum going. That's really good innovation from the Knights there, and hasn't resulted in a try, but they've got a really good opportunity again, 5 metres out.
Southern Knights then.
Here we go, please, fellas.
Looking to execute this line out as Sam Pickwood goes towards the front of the line just now. Again, taking time before the throw in here, and Anderson now towards Ian Moody at the back. Moody again reaching high, winning the ball. Anderson going in. Ball now controlled by Anderson under his right arm. The ball going forward. Now it's accelerating at real rate of knots, and down they go. A Southern Knights try coming 20 minutes into the second half and extending their advantage to 15 points to 8, and that was all about the execution of the line out and then the pace of the ball that Boroughmuir simply could not put the brakes on.
Yeah, he's made a difference since coming on. Russell Anderson in the tail around the back, just his maturity around the field, and noble that he deserves getting that try. And you can see them keeping how important it is to keep that drive square. They come around the back really nice and tight, get the ball to the back. And again, just the binds are nice and strong. They're not panicking. Really good communication too from Murdo McAndrew at the back. Get the legs going. James Head comes around the corner, and yeah, just nice and tight. And a really good line-out drive try.
And from a good 5-6 metres out, you could see Anderson had eyes up. He was looking straight in front of him. He had control of the ball, and he was aware he could finish things off. And we were talking earlier on about the number of Scottish hookers that we have. The tries to appearance ratio now is going up and up and up because of tactics and execution like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of tries that are coming from drives, and I've got sort of mixed emotions around it. I don't mind it when there's the breakout plays as we saw earlier on, and then obviously it's a pretty tough skill to have, and to get a forward pack to be nice and tight like that. But again, a well worked try.
Second try converted then by Jason Baggett, 17 points to 8. Bitter disappointment for Boroughmuir. And Southern Knights looking to head back to the top of the table, 20 minutes away from a victory at Negatland, and doing the double over Boroughmuir Bears this season on the edge of the 22. Russell Anderson, the try scorer, along with Ian Moody. Moody's try coming in the 42nd minute. Anderson's more or less on the hour mark. As Boroughmuir hitting back, an excellent try from Jordan Edmonds. At that stage it was a 2-point game. McAndrew once again on towards Harry Borthwick, carries outside that 22, goes to the deck, plants the ball back. James Head over the ball.
7 stop.
Just shielding there, McAndrew. Just put some height on that box kick. Andrews is underneath it. Back there towards Tom Brown. Brown then from hand, just on the edge of the 22. But Southern Knights had Baggett in position and was able to carry up and beyond that 10-metre line down the Southern Knights left-hand channel. Recycled again. Touch for Gunn. Baggett is forced back, James Head is forced backwards there, as Boroughmuir were aware of the Southern Knights options and the tactics there, but Boroughmuir penalised.
Offside.
Another offside decision. A few offsides given against Boroughmuir in the course of the 61 minutes played so far, and that provides another Southern Knights penalty, which Jason Baggett will look to land inside the Boroughmuir Bears half of the field.
It just lets them off the hook, Stuart. When you look at Boroughmuir and where they need to be on the field. Jason Baggett again will put it down into the 22, but it might not go out. No, it hasn't gone out.
Andrews positioned himself well, and coming off Tom Brown. But again, Pakur was up just to make things difficult for the Boroughmuir Bears fullback, and that bundles into touch just on the edge of the 22. We'll get a chance to watch this once again. Here it comes.
Time off.
You can see underneath it is Andrews on there towards his fullback. And there's the on-rushing Sam Pakur.
Just shows you a good chase can make a bad kick look pretty good, can't it? You know, Sam Pakur did really well there to just Tom Brown far too long on the kick.
But this line out is going to be outside on the Joel step off.
Aubrey Makuba's come on the field to play. Another Boroughmuir change. Some fresh legs and fresh ideas. Replaced by Makuba on. Rhys Tate is off. And Boroughmuir now, Drummond winning the ball in that line out. And Boroughmuir now trying to make some ground just up by the 22, up towards that 10-metre line. Now they've got a bit of momentum. The momentum that we watched Southern Knights land a try just a little bit earlier on, and that's taken Boroughmuir right up towards that halfway line. They've got a period of advantage here. Pittman out now towards clutch of players down this left-hand side. Edmonds gives chase, but it's Tom Brown that's going to chase his own kick downfield there. The referee stops that period of advantage. It'll come back for the earlier infringement, and it's Boroughmuir chasing the game at the moment, but there's still time, Sean, to turn things around. 17 points to 8, but it's all about getting a sustained period of pressure and possession of the ball.
Yeah, again, a bit like the first half. Boroughmuir haven't really been early on in the first half. It's the same now. Southern Knights have had a lot of the territory, certainly. Real good opportunity now for Boroughmuir to get maybe deep into the Knights' half. But what I liked there was they played advantage and they tried to use the backs. Okay, it wasn't. The passing was a bit lateral, the running was a bit lateral, which allowed the nice defence to come up. But at least they're trying with it again, with the ambition to move the ball.
Time off. 7.
A replacement in the Southern Knights ranks. Rory Knott will be replaced by Alan Ferry. So just looking down at the bench, I don't think Callum Cruikshank has come on the field of play, or Cameron Jones. Otherwise, Southern Knights have used all the replacements with about 15 minutes of this game left to play. An untidy line out. Knights trying to get bodies on the ball. Boroughmuir knocking the ball forward there in the line. And Southern Knights get back to their feet in possession of the ball and with a lead to try and protect or build on during the course of the remainder of the game. Boroughmuir can see stripped and ready is Kyle McGee. He'll be the latest player off the bench and onto the field of play. And this is when the coaches are, it's not a case of them rolling the dice, but it is a case of looking at those on the bench to go on and just try and turn things round in their favour. In the case of Boroughmuir, Biaretto's a big presence to have on the field of play, but a good chance for McGee to show what he can do.
Yeah, definitely. I think Kaleem's worked very hard. He'll be pretty tired, I would imagine, with the amount of play he has been involved in. But Cole's a good player. He offers something different. He's a broken field runner. So you'd expect him to snipe around the fringes. But, you need to get those fresh bodies on.
McAndrew readies himself to feed the ball in. Of course, he's got a new face alongside him. He watching on ball. Just works its way into that crowd of players.
I've got no offence.
Southern Knights, though,
I've got no
rather
offence on this
untidy
side.
set piece. In the most part, the set pieces haven't been too bad this afternoon. There's been a few reset scrums in the second period. But again, over a period of time when you're working with forwards and looking at tactics and looking to sharpen things up, and a lot of it is referees' interpretations at the end of the day.
Well, that's right, yeah, and they'll do their homework on the refs as well about where they stand and how do they referee lineouts and scrums. But again, a couple of lineouts being lost by Boroughmuir at key times. Just the one there, just outside the 22. You can see Robbie McCallum at 12 throwing his hands up in exasperation at another attacking platform gone to waste.
And as with every passing minute, the frustration will begin to build, you'd imagine, as Boroughmuir try and chase this game. McAndrew feeding the ball into that scrum again, just controlled by the number 8 in the Southern Knights ranks. It comes back now towards McAndrew, again towards Baggett, on towards Godsmark. Now some ground for Southern Knights to run into. Prodded forward there by Joe Jenkins, returned though by Tom Brown. Brown's kick just goes out straight in the full there, and he has to stop in his tracks, removes the gum shield and just marches back into his own half of the field. And again, you know, it's all about fine margins. Brown's kick to touch, had it been a fraction sort of shorter with a little less on the power of the boot there, it may well have trundled into touch and forced Southern Knights back into their own half rather than where they are now on this Boroughmuir 10.
Yeah, Southern Knights certainly won that kicking duel there. Tom Brown's a fine player, been a really good acquisition for Boroughmuir, but on that occasion just overcooked it, which is, you know, he'll be disappointed with that, but it gives another opportunity to for a line out for Knights, and back in the half of Boroughmuir again.
Gunn with the word there to Anderson. Anderson then himself a try scorer this afternoon, and that goes long though. McCoob just on the back of it, but the referee standing just at the back of the line, so Southern Lights line out, knocked on by Boroughmuir hands, and we'll have a scrum 15 metres in from touch on the Boroughmuir 10 down that Southern Knights right hand side, and it remains 17 points to 8 to the visitors with just over 10 minutes of the game left to play. That looked as if it just came off the hands there. McCoob was gathering at the base of the line out, or at the back of the line out. The referee had penalised though the Boroughmuir players. Martin McGinley is on for Dan Winning, so a change at tight head for the home side.
Interesting formation that the Knights backs have here, 2-2-2. All tearing up along the pitch there.
Knights watching on. McAndrew. The ball now makes itself available to Moody, on towards McAndrew. Tackled well though by Drummond. Down this Southern Knights right hand side, recycled by Borthwick, back in towards James Head, and behind Head is Alan Ferry, recycled once more by Borthwick, on towards Baggett, taken on by Sean Gunn, trying to make some ground down the centre. Again McAndrew just tries to reach in and secure ball, but this time it's the Southern Knights that are penalised, and Boroughmuir will be presented with this opportunity, and they become increasingly important now as we reach the final 10 minutes, that a situation like this turns into points for Boroughmuir. I know that where they are in the field of play, they've got some work to do, but you know, they can't afford to cough up these chances now.
A great turnover there from George Cave. They're so important, those jackal turnovers, and you have your front row doing it. That shows their intent, but Boroughmuir need to look after the ball now. They're going to have to play from a little bit deeper. They're not in the ideal territory position, but you know, they haven't had that much ball through the second half, so they're going to have to use it now and go for it. I said it's only, what are they, nine points behind. It's still 10 minutes to go. They've still got all to play for.
Kyle McGee readies himself this put in for the replacement scrum half. Dan Winning just walks past Sean down the steps, takes his seat in the stand just in front of us. Free kick awarded to Boroughmuir. Southern Knights penalised at the scrum. Drummond gets on with it. We'll get Sean's thoughts on that in just a second, as McGee in position now to recycle on towards Pittman. Collision there is a solid one as Boroughmuir again. That was a long lofted pass there from McGee, asking some questions of the Boroughmuir players that lined up ready to attack. It's back now, Pittman finding teammates and finding some ground, and suddenly Boroughmuir are beginning to find some room up towards halfway. A look to protect possession of the ball here. Advantage coming the way of Boroughmuir. Southern Knights players going on off their feet. Edmonds again wrestled to the ground, this time by Godsmark. They come back for that infringement, with Southern Knights flying in off their feet on the halfway line. So another chance for Boroughmuir to make some ground into that 22. But yeah, that free kick decision given against Southern Knights, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, that was okay. It was just, there's a bit of they didn't do it quickly enough. Roy Drummond had the ball and he took a little while to make a decision to kick, to tap it and go. So they just need to be really decisive in their play now. They had a couple of good runs there. Get the ball to their dangerous runners. Robbie McCallum, Jordan Edmonds, you know, Tom Brown. They need to get the ball out, give the ball some air. Now they're now to the Knights, up to the 22 now. Here's a really good opportunity. They need to get this line out throw right.
When Edmonds is strong in a one-on-one situation, we've seen a few times down the tram lines where he's been hurdling challenges and been able to cut his way through the initial defensive line. It's taken a couple of players to bring him down as Drummond wins the ball at the back of that Boroughmuir line. Boroughmuir now looking to make some ground inside the 22. Again, just at the back is Andrews. They're suddenly finding themselves in better positions, but the referee just allowed a short period of advantage. There was some crossing there. I think it was number 19 that was penalised, Aubrey McCoop, and as a consequence Southern Knights now have a penalty. Boroughmuir again looked frustrated, as you'd imagine they would be, because they had good ball potential there inside the Southern Knights 22. Baggett goes forward, and again that was a beautiful kick there from Baggett from 122 to another.
Yeah, sums up the game really. That's disappointing for Boroughmuir. Good platform just outside the 22. A drive again, but again a little bit of crossing going on, and that was an out-and-out penalty. So again, frustration for the Boroughmuir supporters, but again great positioning for the Knights.
A word in the ear of Russell Anderson from Sean Gunn. Anderson then looks to feed the ball into the scrum. Sean Lanier will start to think about his player of the match, and that before the end of the contest. But again, you can see how powerful this Southern Knights maul is, with Anderson just controlling the ball. He's glanced up once or twice. There's some bodies in front of him. Can he work his way towards the left hand side? James Head, he's ripped out, but again Head goes in once more, and Anderson just in at the side, trying to make some ground. McAndrew, you can hear the referee saying now use, up towards that 5 metre line. Southern Knights going for what would be a third try in this contest. Anderson's already scored in the game as they look to recycle again. Out inside that final 5 metres, on towards McAndrew. Now it's prodded forward there by Cameron Scott on the angle. Sam Picour on that left hand side was able to win the ball in the air. Godsmart now, he has to change direction, straightens up, runs into his opposite number there, looks to recycle, does so well, taken on there by Alan Ferry. Ferry inside the 22. The referee will come back for again another infringement on this right hand side. Southern Knights knocking at the door, Boroughmuir remain tight defensively though.
Yeah, some good attacking options there from the Knights there. Cammy Scott, good left foot, last little chip out to the corner. Sam Picour, great catch, and then an offload to Noel Godsmark. But again, desperate defence from Boroughmuir, holds them out, but discipline's starting to wander a little bit now, and another 5 metre line out to Knights.
Just the one card shown to Ian Moody on the half-hour mark. That was served without any change to the scoreline. It was 3-all at half-time. It's now 17-8 to the visitors, and there is the Russell Anderson, the shot of Russell Anderson, the replacement hooker, on for Southern Knights. Again, a lot of time taken before this throw-in. Of course, Southern Knights will want to play down the clock, but Sean Gunn was not going to be rushed there as he came across with the instructions. Now the ball is back with Anderson. Now the drive is on. They look to straighten up. They're reaching towards the line. Anderson, is he across the line looking to ground the ball? You can see Tristan Andrews desperately trying to ensure that the players remain upright. The referee has put whistle to mouth there, and once again Anderson is the last player on his feet. The try have been awarded, and all credit to those Southern Knights players going forward. They are very, very dangerous indeed and hard to stop.
Yeah, they just had too much territory throughout the afternoon really. It's been a long way back for Boroughmuir, who've tried hard valiantly. They've defended really well. They just haven't had enough territory, and when they've been down there they've lost 2 or 3 key line-outs, so haven't been able to keep their foot on the throat. And again, easy outs for the Knights. And again, they've been clinical. 2 line-out drive tries. They're very direct, and they've converted the pressure into points when they've had to.
Yeah, just watching on here, I don't think the ball left the hands there of Anderson, and you can see it's grounded over the line, and the light shown on the Southern Knights player's face as Baggett looks to add the extras from the 22. That's swinging round and over, no problems at all, and Baggett lands another conversion. 22 points, now 24 points to 8 with that successful conversion, and you feel that Southern Knights are now out of sight.
And over the piece, they do deserve it. They've hit the ball for long periods of time. They've played a lot of rugby up against a really stern Boroughmuir defence, but again, territory told.
Martin Simprich off the bench, blank jersey. He restarts this match, and it's a match as Alan Ferry is trying to make some ground as it's back towards Godsmark.
They'll be going for the bonus point now, so you watch Knights keep the ball from deep.
Recycled there by Cameron Jones. That's all the Southern Knights players now off the bench and onto the field of play. 24 points to 8. Confirmation that Murdo McAndrew has been replaced by Cameron Jones. Down this left hand side, Sam Pakur, great acceleration, prodded forward there by Cameron Jones. It's a kick and chase, and Jones is over for the try, and there is the bonus point score that Sean Lenine was talking about, and a bit of creativity with the pace initially of Sam Pakur, and again a kick and chase, and it was all about the weight of the kick and the confidence of the chaser and the scrum half who's just off the bench, Cameron Jones. That must be one of the quickest tries in the FOSROC Super 6 this season, scored by a player that's just come on as a replacement.
Oh, the fantastic try. I can see it again on the screen. Nice long pass from Baggett. Again, Joe Jenkins, one-handed offload, fantastic. Sam Pakur showing really good pace, keeping the ball alive in his left hand, great offload. And again, trusted his pace there, Cameron Jones, great down the touchline. And there's Harry Borthwick up on the outside there, and good support as well there. Real good energy there, and really well worked try. Lovely little one-handed offload.
Tristan Andrews had two players to chase there, and Sam Pakur again was tackled, but it was the offload, and there's the weight of the kick and the kick and chase there, and Andrews just could not get to him, and that was a good clean grounding of the ball. 29 points to 8, and this conversion from right on the touchline would take the Southern Knights just beyond the 30-point mark. Baggett then from touch, hoisted just across field and across the face of the post there, so it remains 29 points to 8, and we'll head back for a restart, and Martin Simprich will get this match restarted. But it's been a bitterly disappointing last 10-15 minutes for the Boroughmuir Bears. Southern Knights back to winning ways after losing 32-21 last time out to Watsonians, and Boroughmuir Bears still with the 2 wins so far this season in the competition, but they still remain close to Stirling County towards the foot off the table. McCoomb taking the ball into the contact situation, recycled there by Kyle McGee. Drummond tries to straighten up, but the tackles are coming in and Borthwick just slows him up. It's recycled by McGee once more on towards Simprich. And a player of the match, well, Sean, you've made your decision. You've thought long and hard about it.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, well, in the losing team, Colleen Burrito was obviously outstanding, and Jordan Edmonds ran really well. In the attacking team, Harry Borthwick was outstanding at 6. But my man of the match is Ewan McLaren, the tight head. Tight heads don't usually get man of the match, but I thought he was outstanding. Dominant scrum, stayed on for the whole 80 minutes. Strong ball carrier, really mobile. He thoroughly deserves man of the match.
Well, all credit to Ewan McLaren, and all credit to the Southern Knights for a bonus point try victory, and all the tries coming in the second half. It was 3-3 at half time. It was a hard fought first 40 minutes. A lot of defensive work, Boroughmuir having to defend for long periods, but Southern Knights were also tested defensively. But let's have a look at some of these tries then scored during the course of the second half. Boroughmuir, well, they've got a real finisher in Jordan Edmonds. The long pass out towards Edmonds there from Biaretto, and he was able to reach forward and ground the ball, and at that stage that brought Boroughmuir right back into the game. because Ian Moody had scored a try 2 minutes into the second period. And this is an illustration, Sean, of the strength of the Southern Knights forwards. And right at the heart of it, another replacement that was very effective was Russell Anderson. That, incidentally, is the Ian Moody score. That's the first of the tries that we watched in the second half. And that, at that stage, gave Southern Knights a 10-8 advantage. But look at this from Jordan Edmonds. How deceptive is he to bring down? You know, he's a big man. He's a pacey man, but by goodness me, he's strong.
Yeah, they need to find out ways of getting in the ball more regularly, I think. You know, but the only times he really got the ball other than for that try was from the opposition, really giving long kicks. Otherwise, they usually had man and ball. So that lovely, great long pass there. Again, bumping straight over. Jordan Edmonds is really dangerous for Boroughmuir. But for me, Stuart, unfortunately, Boroughmuir didn't have enough ball, didn't have enough territory. And the times where they did have opportunities, they just coughed the ball up, or the line out wasn't functioning. So they'll be really disappointed because they put a lot of effort in. Some of their defence was absolutely outstanding. Some of the scramble defence as well, which kept Southern Knights, who have got a really good attack, they kept them under wraps for the whole of the first half. So, you know, they've got a lot to be proud of. But again, attacking wise and where they play the game, they've got to play a bit further up the field.
Ian Moody, who scored the first try, was the architect in the second, along with Russell Anderson, who, as you see, was throwing in ball one in the line by Moody. Anderson then joins them all. And again, here's the power of these Southern Knights players. They're able to initially break some of the momentum that Boroughmuir were trying to build. And it was Anderson that was over for the try from close range. He had time to look up at this stage to see how close he was towards the line. Then a little later in the second half, he was able to repeat the feat, scoring again from close range. The referee had a long, hard look before awarding the score, but he was satisfied. And this is perhaps the best camera angle, Sean, to see this score once again.
He made a real impact, Russell Anderson. As I said, you know, the benches do play a big part in these games now. You know, the 23 players, they don't talk about it's the 15-man team now. It's 23, and yeah, the impact that the likes of Sean Gunn as well at Lucy, when he came on, he made a difference too. So, you know, as I said, and look at this. This is just a great piece of play from Sam Pecure. Nice little chip. They had Harry Borthwick up in support, so he better score it because he could have easily passed to Harry Borthwick there. But, you know, just great continuity down that left-hand side. And again, you can watch that all day long, the one-hand offload with Joe Jenkins on the right hand and then Sam Pecure off his left hand. Yeah, nice little chip.
He started it all, and it was all about having, again, the confidence to chase his kick, the weighted kick. And he measured that just with perfection. It was up against good defensive cover in Tristan Andrews, but there was nothing Andrews could do to stop him. So the Southern Knights will head back down to the Green Yards, to the Scottish borders, back top of the table after 6 rounds of matches in the FOSROC Super 6 competition. They also have the man of the match in their ranks. Player of the match is Ewan McLaren. They're a reminder of the final score. Southern Knights back on top. They win with the try bonus point this afternoon at Meggetland. Boroughmuir Bears 8, Southern Knights 29.
Welcome back to Megatland. A huge second half performance by the Southern Knights. They put on 26 points after a disappointing first 40 minutes from both sides. My goodness, a big win for the Southern Knights. I predicted perhaps a big second half performance by them, and that's exactly what happened. Well win for them. A great win for them as well. Boroughmuir Bears really just falling away in the second half, although they did start getting points on the board, but a great win for the Southern Knights. They go back to the top of the table, and I'm delighted to introduce you to our FOSROC Super 6 player of the match, a forward, in fact a prop forward. That doesn't normally happen. Ewan McLaren, congratulations to you. A great performance from you, and also a great performance from the team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, first half was quite difficult. Boroughmuir, hats off to them, made it really difficult for us. Coming from Greenyards a couple of weeks ago, they're a difficult team to play against if you let them. So once we got into our shape, we felt that we're pretty comfortable and got some good tries at the second half.
And also, Sean Lanine was talking about the commentary there that the scrum being a real platform to attack from, and you seem to get that right in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. It helps when you've got some really good experience like Grant Shields and Russell Anderson. So guys like that are really valuable to have in the scrum. So yeah, really delighted to get some good go forward from that as well.
And also, it's not often we do have guys like yourself in the front row who are doing all the donkey work and all the hard work for everyone else. I mean, to actually get to be recognised for the work you put in, and that kind of says that it was a real team performance today, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the way we look at ourselves as a collective, we're a 15-man squad. Going into the subs as well. I mean, some of the impact they had coming off the bench really got us going. So it was a team performance, and yeah, just really happy to get the win. It
also seems that you're a side that always put in big second half performances as well. You've seemed to do it so often so far this season. Yeah, I mean, it would help if it was the same in the first half, but look really happy. Our shape came into play, and then to get the result in the end, just delighted. So this is round 6 of the tournament. You've got a few still to go, but it's looking good for you guys. You go back to the top of the table. Yeah, look, we don't want to be complacent at all. We've still got some really tough games ahead. We've got a lot of home games, and we just want to keep the momentum going, and hopefully getting some good results and see where we finish up. Yeah, and what about next week? Of course, you've got a big one against Watsonians as well. You've got a quick turnaround. It's Friday night, but everyone's going to be looking at that one. Yeah, I mean, we were up there, and I think it was just before the break, and we felt like we could have got some more out of it. We came away with nothing, so yeah, we're definitely going to be looking to get something out of the next game. Well, listen, congratulations today for the whole team performance, and particularly yours as well. You are the FOSROC Super 6 player of the match. Ewan McLaren, congratulations to you. Cheers. Here comes the medal, here comes the hug. No hugging. Well done that man. Excellent performance from Ewan McLaren there, and excellent performance from his side as well. Let's have a look and see what's happened to the league table. As you can see, the Southern Knights right up to the top there. Boroughmuir Bears stay on the bottom, Stirling County second bottom. Heriots, who are playing next week. Ayrshire Bulls had a huge performance yesterday to put them up into third, and Watsonians dropped down into seconds. Let me tell you what's going to happen next week on Free Sports. We will be live with another match, and it's Heriots Rugby against Ayrshire Bulls. That should be an absolute cracker. Don't miss that. Come back to us on Free Sports on a Sunday. It has been an unbelievably fantastic afternoon of rugby here at Megatland. The first half wasn't so great. The second half absolutely came alive, and the Southern Knights are back at the top of the table. From all of us here, thank you so much for your company. Bye for now.